What is going on, everybody? How we doing today? Sorry, I'm a little bit late for the stream. I typically would start at around 10 because that is, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Typically I would start around 10. There we go. Oh man. Typically I would start around 10 because that's when the fights start. But I could not do that today because I got caught in Boston. Some of the shit going on in Boston today was annoying. They had something with the trains and stuff like that. We had to get off. We had to get buses. It wasn't like catastrophic failure or anything like that. I think it was something to do with some kind of maintenance. And that's always a story. Like every time you go into Boston, there's always some stupid shit with that. They can never keep those things up. There's always some stupid shit going on. By the way, thank you very much, Zachary Barrett, for linking my Streamlabs donation thing, as you are known to do. Thank you very much for doing that. Makes it a lot easier for me not having to do that among the other million things. I have a bit of a habit. I have a bit of a habit when I go into Boston or any metro area. I collect stickers. All right, this is my autistic fixation is stickers. All right, and I always collect enemy propaganda. I collect enemy propaganda is what I do. And I have like a whole bag of things like this, you know. It comes from years and years ago when I first started becoming politically aware and stuff like that. You know, I'd see stickers around and I'd be like, oh, these, you know, like, fuck these guys, you know. And I'd tear their stickers down. But eventually I was like, you know what, like, I do kind of like the art sometimes. I do like the idea, like I'm a bit of a pack rat, right? I'm not a hoarder. But I am a bit of a pack rat, and I am very, I suppose you could say, sentimental. And because of that, when I see something cool, I kind of want to hold it. I kind of want to hold on to it. So I like, you know, I see stickers like this around, and I grab them, you know, just because I like, what do you do in a climate emergency? Reduce, reuse, recycle, rebel. Extinction Rebellion. These organizations have been around since the first Trump era. It's funny to see them still doing their thing. This isn't like explicitly an anti-Trump thing, but it's just funny to see Extinction Rebellion. I remember when they were still kind of actually relevant in some way, shape, or form, but they were mostly and pretty much only relevant in where was it? England, where they started. And then I found this one right here. A little bit faded, but you know, hey yo, fuck the homeless. All my homies hate the homeless. But what I'll do is I will tape these up. I'll put tape on them to protect them and preserve them, and then I'll add them to the collection. I have them from a couple of different cities and stuff like that, you know. I collect STIs. Well, I collect those too, you know. We swapped a few back in the day, didn't we, Neon? Didn't we swap a few back in the day? But yes, CDA Steez. Thank you very much. If anybody's watching right now, all eight. Oh, it might be 6 now. We might have lost a couple. You know, go ahead and like the stream though. I would appreciate that. But yeah, tonight what we're doing is we are watching the UFC fight. Like I said, I'm a little bit late. I think I missed the first fight or two. Right now is going to be Patricio Pitbull versus Dan Ige. I don't know if they're just about to get that started, but Pitbull has made his walkout. I believe Dan Ige is about to make his walkout as well. We will keep an eye on that, you know, and we'll do our thing. Pretty boring fights, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think it was last week, but I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. The best UFC card that I have seen in years occurred. All the fights were barn burners. Well, maybe not barn burners, but they were a lot more exciting than people who were just trying to point their way to a victory, you know? Even the grappling, like all of the UFC is boring now, and it's because people are doing things by the book. They're not taking risks. They're not fighting and leaving it all out there. I talk about this every single time. I talk about this every single fucking time, right? Um, but like, what was I gonna say? Yeah, Dan Ige is walking down now. Um, damn, I'm blanking on what I was gonna. I'm blanking on what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. So all of the UFC is boring now. The grappling is the most boring part, though. And it's because people are doing it by the book. They're doing it based off of what they need to win as opposed to what they need to actually fight, if it makes sense what I'm trying to say. Like I said, I talk about this at least once a week whenever I talk about the UFC and stuff like that. But to see exciting grappling exchanges, the last one that we watched together, which was a few weeks ago, was actually really, really good. It was really, really good. It was so nice. It was a good ass card. The last numbered card that we watched, UFC 317. This is UFC 318, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's not as good as 317 because these guys they're fighting a certain way. Smart Moron says modern MMA is too pitter patter. That's kind of a good way to put it. Because like here's the thing, right? I've talked about this before. Floyd Mayweather is considered to be one of the best boxers to ever live. I would not want Floyd Mayweather with me in a street fight, though, if I'm being honest with you. And this isn't some kind of cope thing either. This isn't some like, dude, out in the streets, that boxing shit, that don't work, bro. But genuinely, the way Floyd Mayweather is known to fight, I would not want him with me in a bar fight. I feel that he would be more of a liability than an asset. I don't think he would watch my back. I don't think he would have the capability to do that in the way even someone who he has beaten would be able to do, right? So like even journeyman, like, hey, you're five, like the guys that they have prospects fight when they're 5 to 10 fights in their career, dudes that know how to box, but they're also not like considered to be the most technically sound. I would literally rather have someone like that in a bar fight watching my back than someone like Floyd Mayweather. And it's because what's Floyd gonna do? He gonna back into a corner and Philly shell and fucking like pop people a few times, and it's not gonna knock him out. It's not even gonna knock him down. It's just gonna annoy them. Like that's not. At the end of the day, right? Fighting is meant to be as close to unarmed warfare as we possibly can have it be, right? Now, somewhere along the line, we forgot this aspect, and because of that, people are not fighting as hard as they can anymore. What they're doing instead is they're going out there and all of their punches and kicks are only thrown at like 80 or 90%. They're throwing with minimal conviction. They're more focused on just outpointing the other guy, you know? And that's a more complicated, and frankly, like, I'm not doing the greatest job of explaining it. As usual, I'm kind of attention's a little bit divided right now because the fight has started, but I also want to finish what I'm saying here. Um, that's a more complex way to say what Smart Moron is saying, that MMA is too pitter patter. Like, watch these guys right now. If you're watching along with me, if you're watching Dan Ige versus Pitbull right now, Pitbull is in the black, Dan Ige is in the blue. You can see the way they're throwing their kicks. For instance, they're not turning the hip over on the kicks. It's very non-committal. It's very just like snap a leg out and hope you hit something. Even the punches you're gonna see. Like, I don't know that much about Dan Ige. I did see a cross to the body that I didn't hate. But like, you're gonna see, like, Dan Ige actually right now, he is kind of throwing like for real. I'll give him that. Um, but like, again, like, you can see a lot of MMA fights and a lot of fighters who it's like jab, cross, kick. It's hard to explain. I'll have to do like a video on it one day, just like everything I hate about the modern UFC, everything I hate about modern MMA, everything that I think sucks about it. And in that case, I can explain it all because I can actually show you what I'm talking about. But kick from Ige up top doesn't land. Pitbull's been pretty inactive You know, there's a jab up the middle, stiff jab from Pitbull. Of course, I'm sitting here trying to talk about how like these like modern UFC guys don't tend to throw with a ton of commitment, and here we have two dudes who so far, at least in their punches, have been throwing with like conviction. There's been conviction in what they're doing. You know, they're fully turning. They're getting that full extension. They're fully stepping in. They're using their weight. They're falling into their punches and things like that. You know, it's of course that would happen, but you get what I'm trying to say. You know, they're just slow dancing. All right, so I happened to look away. Pitbull got a takedown. He got around the back. He took Ige down. He almost fell off, and he takes him back down to the mat. Ige's back up, trying to work on breaking the grip. And, Ige was just about to reverse position on Pitbull, but the fence saved Pitbull. So now Ige is in a little bit of danger here. Pitbull going to what looks like a cradle position. It looks like he has a cradle in. That'd be funny seeing a Brazilian fighter do a cradle. Yeah, it appears as though he has a cradle in right now. A cradle is a wrestling move. That's like not just a wrestling move, but it's explicitly a folk style wrestling move. You don't see it anywhere else. Sometimes you see it in catch wrestling, but you don't see it in any other form of grappling because it's a control position and one that you don't have too much that you can do. You know? Like if Pitbull wanted to, he could roll Ige so that he's basically on his back, but it would put him in a bit of a weird position, you know? It's funny seeing that. So Ige's back up, he throws an elbow on the way out, doesn't seem to have landed, and they are back at the center of the cage. Sort of just staring each other down right now. Minute 15 left in the first round of this fight. That actually has not been that bad thus far. I'll give it to them, you know. Ooh, cross up the middle from Pitbull, who was countering Ige's low kick. Ige trying to capitalize on what appears to be a height and reach advantage. He's kind of, you know, throws a kick up the middle. Front kick up the middle doesn't land. I think he's just trying to keep Pitbull away. I think like I don't know that much about Pitbull. I know that he was able to knock out Michael Venom Page, which like MVP was on a tear at that time in Bellator. But from what I do know about him is he is pretty good with his Muay Thai. But again, I don't know that much about him, so I gotta kind of Ige working for that switch. You mean working for that switch, Matua? I assume. Ooh, back kick, spinning back kick from Ige. Pitbull feigns a takedown. Ige throws a two-piece that doesn't seem to have landed. I've noticed a few left hooks from Ige that are being thrown with real conviction. I think he's trying to catch Pitbull on the way in, maybe throwing a cross or something like that. And he's trying to clean his clock. Pitbull, pound for pound, worst, most overused nickname. Yeah, there's the guy who runs the MMA promotion that I will fight for when I want to do MMA in this area. He has a story about a guy at his gym because this dude, he had a couple of pro fights and then he stopped and he started promoting. He said there was a guy at the gym that he was training at who they gave him the nickname Pitbull Assassin because everybody was so sick of the name Pitbull and Assassin being used. So they were like, you know what? You're the Pitbull Assassin. I don't know why they gave that guy specifically that nickname, but I could only imagine how great it was when that dude got called, got announced in whatever it's called, a cage fighting, an MMA promotion or whatever, you know, during his fights. Excuse me. Pitbull knocked out Michael Chandler. Yeah. Like this isn't Pitbull's first fight in the UFC, although I feel like it took them a while to pick him up. Boy, high kick from Ige, just like Matua was saying. Matua. Dan Ige has never beat a big name that he's fought. Yeah. It's weird because I vaguely remember Dan Ige. Did he fight Rob Font or Calvin Kattar? Like I could have swore I remember Dan Ige fighting one of them, but like they're in like the featherweight and bantamweight, aren't they? And like Pitbull was like I'm almost confused. I might be getting them mixed up with somebody else, you know? Imagine they call me the tickle rate master. Figure it out. I don't need to figure anything out. Hi Ecuador. I know exactly why they call you that. I've fallen victim to it before. Few punches from Ige don't really land. Looked like a left hook to the body landed from Ige. Ige is controlling the pace. Ooh, cross up the middle from Pitbull seems to maybe have landed, but it didn't do a ton of damage. You know, if I had to give this fight to anybody right now, it would be Ige because not only has he been more active, but I feel like he's probably been landing more. Although he did, Pitbull has that control time, but to me, control time doesn't mean much. You know, I think they need to do away with the concept of control time, and they need to they need to stand people up if there is not some kind of something happening, you know? Even if it's like okay, so this guy has the mount and he goes from the mount to like side control. He purposefully gives up the mount and he goes to side control or something else like that, right? It's either you're doing damage or you're at risk of being stood back up and it's your fault, guy on top, you know? Could there be issues with that might arise? Yeah, like right away I thought, oh well, if I got taken down, I'd just hold a dude until the ref stood us back up. But then again, like that's more the guy on top's fault for not being able. Ooh, jab from Pitbull interrupts a right hook from Ige, who was standing in a lefty stance. Excuse me. Um, ooh, Pitbull lands across up the middle. Ige goes down to a knee but stands back up. Pitbull swarms cross up the middle from Ige and then a left hook from Ige. But the thing is, Ige is still hurt. You can see he's still hurt. Pitbull's starting to get the best of him, but Ige's still throwing back. Some dirty boxing from Pitbull up the middle. Pitbull teeing off. Ige shelling up. I don't think it's over yet, but it will be over soon if he doesn't start mounting an offense. Nice elbow on the way out from Ige. Seems as though he's good now. I think he's recovered. I think they were both throwing crosses up the middle, and Pitbull's just happened to be the one that landed. Ige standing in a lefty stance now, trying to hand fight a little bit. Think he's probably a little more cautious now. He's been leading a lot of the striking exchanges right now. He's been the one initiating a lot. I think after that he probably respects Pitbull's power and he wants to make sure that he doesn't give him anything for free, you know. Cross hook from Ige, who is Ige throws a punch, Pitbull ducks under and takes him down. He now gets the double leg takedown. And we're going to see what happens here. He's in side control. Side control, and he's just kind of working for position right now. Ige trying to also make sure that he is in a position where he's protected. Ige looks like he's trying to stand. No, he's not trying to stand up. He's trying to recover a guard, which he has recovered, but it's not a very good guard. We have what appears to be a half guard right now, butterfly, and a hook, which that's not necessarily good for him to be in. As you can see, if you're watching, he's starting to get hit. He was actually safer in that side control from a second ago. Oh, see, we have another interesting situation. He let it go, but Pitbull, as the round comes to an end, it's funny seeing Pitbull use more wrestling. So he was in a half guard, and Ige turned in, and Pitbull immediately went to a half Nelson, right? Which is like in that position. If Ige's head was here, Pitbull took his arm and scooped up his head so that it was in here, basically almost like kind of a front headlock position in that situation, but not exactly. And that's something I'll go to because what'll happen is in that position when someone's in half guard, a lot of the time, yeah, you see, we saw the knockdown, and Ige just happened to catch the worst of what was two crosses thrown at the same time. It's a nice elbow from Ige into a clinch, but um, oh yeah, like that's a good go-to, including in no gi, where it can be hard to hold somebody down when they're in a half guard or side control. Is if they try to stand up from that half guard, you go to a front headlock position. That way, when they get their leg out, you're automatically in the front headlock, so you can go darce. You can gator roll into whatever. You can spin and take the back again. There's a lot of stuff you can do just by going into that front headlock position, and it's fun to see that kind of thing because you don't see a ton of that. I was talking about Ben Askren, who is currently recovering from a lung transplant because of a staph infection he got. Ooh, I don't even know what the hell just happened. It was I think it was a slip. I think Pitbull slipped because Ige threw a kick and Pitbull moved in and they collided, and it didn't look like he got hurt. It just looked like he slipped, and Ige was capitalizing. Pitbull tried to go for a leg. Ige got a few free ones while Pitbull was trying to recover, holding onto that leg. Oh no, actually, I think Pitbull ducked to either go for a takedown or to try and avoid something, and he actually took a knee to the head there. So that was actually wow, that was pretty crazy. That's why you have to be careful with that head movement. And Pitbull is in on a double leg takedown. He gets it, and he is in. Oh, Ige. That's pretty good grappling exchange right there. So Ige used butterflies to push Pitbull off, and then he ended up inverted. They ended up inverted on each other, and then they ended up standing back up. Oh man. I went to the beach yesterday. I got a little bit of a sunburn, and it's the kind of sunburn that itches more than it hurts. But when I itch it, that's when it starts hurting. A hook to the body, followed by an overhand from Ige. The hook to the body landed. The overhand did not. There's currently blood coming from Pitbull's nose, no doubt from that kick that he ducked into. Jab from Pitbull may have landed. A cross from Ige looks like it was deflected. Hook cross from Ige does not land. Kick up the middle from Pitbull keeps Ige honest. Then a teep, that was not to the nuts. That did not look like it was to the nuts. It looked like Ige landed on the belt line, but Pitbull called it to the nuts. Which I mean, like that's just. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh well. He landed to the belt line, which is a legal blow. But the thing is, when he landed, the rest of his foot pushed into the cup. So I guess I could see him kind of being like, all right, okay, all right, fucking whimsical masshole says W. When do you show up to Greg Tank? I probably won't be involved in that. I got the feeling I could have been involved if I wanted to. I think Greg popped in here to actually try and sell me on the idea. But the thing is, I don't think I could get away with it. Like, I'm actually kind of pissed off lately how much the gym is taking up my time. I love MMA. I love what I do, but also like I'm in a weird situation that, when I'm out of it, I'll tell you guys more. But, I'm just constantly having to be at my gym, and because of that, sometimes I'm not able. Ooh, we have a takedown attempt from Pitbull, does not quite happen. He was going for a high crotch, and Ige was able to get a whizzer in there, and that made it too tough, and now he let go. Yeah, not to trauma dump on you guys, not to complain about my day to day. Ooh, cross up the middle from Pitbull, snaps Ige's head a little bit, but doesn't really do damage. Yeah, I don't want to trauma dump on you guys too much or anything like that, but I am kind of upset at the turn my life has taken. I've been talking about that for like over a year. Ooh, Pitbull in on a takedown, duck, and he took the back. Now I know how he took the back in the first round. He took the back off of the takedown. You all good, baby?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So Ige has an underhook worked in, and he's also trying to pressure on the head of Pitbull. It's going to be really, really hard for him to get that takedown that way. Now Pitbull is off to the side. It's actually going to be a little bit easier for him to get that takedown, but he has to contend with, Ige steps off. He tries to throw an elbow on the way out. Yeah, it's kind of tough to say who I'd give this fight to right now. Like at the end of the first round, I was like, I feel like it'd be Ige, but also I guess I could understand why Pitbull might get that, even though I don't like control time as a concept. I think it's yeah. I mean, the referees are gonna do what the referees do. That's just the way it goes. Ooh, there is a oh man, Ige working. Oh man, Ige working a sweep. Ige working a sweep from 50-50. Wow, that was crazy. So Pitbull got a takedown, right? He caught a kick. He got a dump takedown. He literally dumped him for the takedown. And then Ige immediately went into 50-50. He inverted. He got the 50-50, and now he's actually winning this exchange right now. He's in a control position with the 50-50 basically, and he is throwing punches at Pitbull's body. Pitbull can't really do much because not only does he not have the leverage that Ige has, but in addition to that, because Ige is so long, it's easier for him to land than it is on Pitbull. You know, Ige turning as though, oh man, it would have been nice to see Ige try and finish whatever he was going to go for, because he started turning away like he was going to try and attack the legs. You know, that was pretty interesting. Again, like this is an interesting fight. This is not the worst fight of the night, not at all. You know, I'm having a good time with it. Did he put sunscreen on this time, Scott? I did, but I didn't have enough sunscreen on enough times. Is my issue. Um, Dan Ige lost to Cater. He literally haunts the rankings. Ah, I see. Okay, all right, I see. But that's was there maybe a different Pitbull that beat MVP? Hold on, let me do a little bit of research here. So that is the end of the fight, by the way. I don't know who they're gonna award this to. It could be either. Um, but Patricio Pitbull. You're itchy. Oh, okay. So you know what it is? You know what it is? You know what it is? I think he has a. I think he has. I mean, he has an older brother. That's probably why I'm getting confused. That's probably why I'm getting confused. Is uh I'm trying to like, yeah, Michael Chandler. You know what? It would be better. It would be better to look up Michael Venom Page. That's like the Nogueira brothers. Like I always confuse the Nogueira brothers. Like I'm gonna get to the bottom of this too, the Nogueira brothers. So it looks like they awarded it to Pitbull. I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. It was a good it was a good whatever it's called. It was a good thing and stuff. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. I'll say that much. Uh um oh wait, Douglas Lima. Yeah, I'm like I get these dudes confused sometimes, as you can see. As you can see, I get these dudes confused a little bit, you know? Every now and again. I don't know why I get them confused sometimes. So, it wasn't even I was but anyway, this is one that confuses me too, right? So you have this is Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, okay? He also has a brother named Antonio Rogerio Nogueira. This guy is Big Nog. That is his name, is Big Nog. His brother, on the other hand, Lil Nog. Lil Nog. So Minotauro. And you see how they even gave them the same nickname other than just the big and the Lil. That is fucking crazy, dude. That is insane. Anyway, good win for Pitbull. He really needed a win. I'm sure he did. Hello, Kung Fu Potato Man. Hello, blank nobody. How are you? Scott's sunburn condition is only further proof that whites are a subterranean race, just like the Hotep said. I don't know. They got a point there. I guess I can't disagree. I can't disagree with that one. There we go. But yeah, I think I probably could have been a part of Greg Tank. I think he came in here at one point trying to sell me on the idea of going. And I kind of got that feeling, and I was like, I tried to be like, hey, if you want to do something like, over the internet or something, I can help out with that. Because I'm just not in a space where I can really get away with like going places and stuff like that. It just doesn't work for me like that. It's annoying. Remember when Shale said Big Nog tried to feed a bus a carrot because he thought it was a horse? Yes, that actually happened. That's my favorite Chael Sonnen thing, is that he is straight up like, yeah, no, that happened. For real. That actually happened. That's my favorite thing about Chael Sonnen, is that there's like he'll never say, yeah, no, that was made up. He will always keep the illusion. He will always keep that going every single time. There will never be like, haha, yeah, I thought it'd be a funny prank to pull. It's like literally like you could see Chael Sonnen, at a Dunks or something like that, and be like, whoa, Chael Sonnen, hey, so about that Nogueira thing, and he'd be like, oh yeah, that happened. That's my favorite thing about him. Yeah, man. I'm about to eat a very late dinner, an 11:20 p.m. dinner, because my wife doesn't know how to say crab. We my all day, right? Like are you would you be mad at me if I told them this? I'm not saying it to be like my idiot wife, although no, but jokes aside, like my wife, right? Her English is very, very good. She came here, it was very good, and it's only gotten better. And I'm like really proud of her for like trying to do well with her English. But every now and again, there's something that like it confuses me, or it irks me a little bit. Like sometimes she doesn't say chill out, she says chill down, and it makes me mad. It makes me like genuinely, I'm like, it's chill out. I'm like mad about it almost, right? Um, I'm like, you stupid fucking bitch. No, but like fuck. Oh yeah. One of the issues that arises sometimes though is that she'll say something and the accent will take over, and it'll be really confusing. Like when we first met, she had a rat in her apartment, and I walk in one day and she's like, I saw the red. And I was like, what? And then she was like, oh no, the hat, right? Because like that's just how they say it in Portuguese. And it took like 5 minutes to figure out like, oh, the rat. Okay, all right. This was one of those situations where she wanted a crepe, right? And she asked me when we were in Boston today, hey, um, like where was that place we got the crab from? And I was like, oh, crab? We probably got that from Faneuil Hall. And she was like, oh, okay, we'll have to do that. So like all day she's talking about, I want a crab, I want crab, I want crab. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it. Turns out she wanted a crepe, and by the time I figured that out, the crepe place was closed. Time to trade her in for a newer model. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. She I look up and she's standing in the door like, Oh man, dude, I was like, I was pissed earlier, right? So we go to hop on the red line. The train is down after a certain stop. They're doing some kind of repair or something like that for whatever it's called, the some of the stops, right? So we have to jump on these buses. We jump on the buses, we go into the city. We finally are going to come back and we have to jump on a bus to go to the train station that will actually take us back to where my car is. And we get there to the bus stop and there's like 10, maybe 15 people there, definitely closer to 10. And like by the time the bus gets here, we don't even realize because we're all just kind of chilling on our phones. We look up, there's a crowd of like 40 people here. So we're here first, but all these other people got on the bus first because there's no actual line or anything like that. There's no queue. So that was annoying. So that happened one time. I walk up, I literally cut the line. I like walk up, I pop right in front of the line, and I'm saying it out loud so that everybody around me kind of understands like that I'm pissed off, and I'm pissed off for a good reason. I was like, yo, we got here, and then like tons of other people got here like 10, 15 minutes later, and they got on the bus first. Like, that's not cool. We're not letting that happen, you know? Then another bus comes, it's empty, and it's me, my wife, and my elderly mother-in-law. She's like, what, 67 now, baby?
68.
68, you know? Very, very, very spry for her age. You know, you wouldn't even realize. Honestly, I forget sometimes. I think she's in her like late 50s, early to mid 60s. But um, like mother-in-law hops on the bus. I grab my wife's hand because I don't want us getting separated, just in case some weird shit happens. And people are just piling into the bus, bumping into you. I finally get in there, and this one dude tries to cut in between me and my wife, even though we're holding hands. And we're getting on the bus, and I'm like, yo, dude, let my girl go. And he's like, oh, she's gonna get on, don't worry. And I was like, dude, let my girl go. And I literally, like, I kind of yanked her arm a little bit, and she kind of, like, pushed by the guy. And it was this dude, he was, like, kind of on the old side, so it's not like I was gonna, like, start a big fight with him or anything like that. But it was like, yo, like, what are you fucking doing? You know? It was just one of those disgusting things where your faith in humanity kind of lowers a little bit, where, like, there's women who are carrying babies and they're not able to get on and off the bus safely, like literally that kind of thing, you know. And I as we're getting off this bus, I noticed there's a lady carrying a baby waiting to go, and I'm like, oh no, you go. And there's this woman next to her who does not have a baby, I don't even think is with her. And after the woman with the baby goes, this chick is right behind her, like nut to butt, lady nut to lady butt, like basically trying to squeeze out. And it was just like gross. It's just such a disgusting thing, bro. It's people who are like that, you know. I can't stand them. There was an, oh yeah, dude. Again, my 67-year-old mother-in-law, this fucking pussy on a rented bike almost nails her. Like literally, I remember hearing the him ring the bell. He rang the fucking dumbass bell, and like as he's ringing the bell, baby, I don't know if you noticed this, like as he's ringing the bell, he almost slams into your mom. And like I see it out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, yo, fucking watch it, dude. And he keeps on riding by like he didn't hear me. um and then another guy on a bike who's clearly with the guy up front rides by, and I was like, yo, tell your boy to watch it. And the dude, you know, he kind of does that thing where someone like, oh fuck, he does that thing where someone's like, you know, like that. And it was just like, fuck, man, you know, like city people are just shitty. You know, going to the North End, fucking bumping into all these hipsters. The North End is like what I would imagine Astoria in New York is like, or like Kensington. Well, is Kensington in Philadelphia, or is that in I forget if it's in Philadelphia or if it's in New York, but like just like a hipster area of like one of those big cities where like you have the dudes with the mustaches and they purposefully put grease in their hair to make themselves look unshowered, you know? Like that kind of guy, the worst guy you've ever known, that type of douchebag, you know? You should have tickled him, Scott. Dude, I would have, but he was on the bike. He got away too quick. Um but no, like I would have fought both of them. They were pussies. But like I would have fought both of them at the same time, because that was something that was like, no, that's too much. It's like you bumped in, like, it's not like, oh, you bumped into me or someone and like, like you kept walking and you didn't say anything. It's like somebody, literally somebody did that. Like, again, some Indian dude did that to my mother-in-law. Like she's walking, this dude just like cuts her off, and I was like, that was rude. And the dude again pretended not to hear me. Like, I'll let that go. It's whatever. But like, if that dude hopped off his bike, it would have been a fight. It wouldn't have been like, hey man, what's your problem? It would have been like, oh, okay, all right, I guess we're fighting now. It's like, that's too much, I'm reminded of a story. The fight's going right now, and it's actually kind of high energy. I don't want to talk too much. Wow, we got Rodriguez kind of running in, throwing punches in a very uncoordinated way. It was a little weird to see. Very awkward way. Now Kevin Holland is in a Thai plum. He had a half plum and an underhook, and he threw a knee that didn't seem to really land that well. I'm reminded of a story about one of my favorite uncles. He's been dead for almost 15 years now, but I'm reminded of a story I overheard where he was in Boston and he was tired of cyclists, and he had one of those messenger bags because I think he was working at like some kind of firm or whatever. Ooh, Kevin Holland ducks a cross from Rodriguez and is in on a double leg. He gives up on it. He ends up in a over underhook, but he gives that up and he starts trading with Rodriguez briefly. My uncle took the messenger bag off, waited for a cyclist. I don't know if this is a cyclist that he recognized or not, but this cyclist who was going to ride way too close to a crowd of people, and he went, what? Just nailed him with the messenger bag. The dude fell off and he wanted to fight, and to my understanding, there was no fight that commenced. He kind of took a look at my uncle and was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to fight this guy. And he just took his bike and he rode off, But it's just like city people. They deserve that kind of behavior, Like city, like there's nobody good who lives in a city. You're either a gentrifying yuppie who is literally living off of like dad's paycheck and shit like that. That's what happened. I was fucking this chick from North Carolina before I met my wife. No, but like jokes aside though, like I was dating this girl from North Carolina, right? And she was living in the north end of Boston, and she had just gotten out of college, and she went for art history, and she had a jab from Holland. Both of these guys are kind of crazy the way they're throwing their punches. It's like a little weird. It's like Holland throwing his jab like that, But yeah, like she was an intern at an art museum. She wasn't even like properly working there. I think she was getting paid like $100 a week. Definitely not enough to afford the apartment that she was living in with a roommate, even with a roommate. This is the North End we're talking about. Rodriguez comes forward, Holland moves back, and he starts. It looked like he landed a couple while Rodriguez was moving forward. Rodriguez is running forward with his hands down, throwing like this. It's kind of weird to see. Sometimes you get dudes in the UFC, and it's just like, they're not high-level strikers, that's for sure. Or even, and that's one of the things that's kind of cool about the UFC is that, like, you don't see it much anymore, but you used to have dudes that they didn't have to be high-level strikers or high-level grapplers. They didn't have to be the best athletes. If they were just tough dudes, like I can tell just looking at this Rodriguez dude, he's just a tough dude. He actually caught Holland a second ago, and Holland was hurt a little bit. But like you could just get tough dudes sometimes, and they win every now and again, and they do a lot better than you would expect them to do, just because they're just gritty and they're a little bit weird. They're a little bit awkward to deal with. But yeah, where I was going with that story is like I was thinking about that earlier today because I was like, oh, so how are you affording this place? And you could tell she got a little nervous, like she didn't want to just explain, yeah, my dad's paying for it, And that's because she wanted to keep up her hipster, like, dude, I'm just a struggling 20-something, man, image, But, like, her dad was paying for it. She literally told me she's got a rich dad. She comes from a rich family, Fucking. And it was just like those, ooh, nice combination from Holland. It's a little bit back and forth. I'm kind of ignoring this fight. I got to knock that off. I'm going to wash my hands and eat a little bit in between rounds. But this hasn't been like the worst fight you've ever seen. It hasn't been the most exciting either. But you know, it's been enough as to where I probably shouldn't be talking over it too much. Peace out, Neon. Wish I'd gone in the city today and just repeatedly kept bumping into you and your wife, and then asking if you guys are my parents. I am 45 years old. Maybe we would have said yes. We would have brought you home. All right, I'm gonna wash my hands real quick because I'm about to eat some finger foods, and you know, I'll be right back. Don't you worry. Should do a lot. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm back. We are a little under 30 seconds into the second round right now. Kevin Holland hopping in with a cross to the body. I don't know if it landed or not. Ooh, wow. Rodriguez timed a left hook, and Holland is now on his back. Kevin Holland covering up. Ooh. Oh man, I thought he was about to pull an armbar here. Rodriguez inside control right now. He's got to be careful because someone like Kevin Holland is actually pretty dangerous off his back. You know, he would be able to stand up from there if he wanted to. Wow, that was a nice shot. Like, I think Rodriguez partially timed that and he partially Hail Married it, where like he was like, whatever, I'm just gonna throw this left hook when I see him move forward and I hope it lands, you know? And it landed. And that's what I'm talking about, is you got some dudes who are just tough like that, where it's like they know all they need is one. They're willing to deal with having somebody who's a better striker than them, a better everything than them, do their thing. Ooh, Holland is now down on his back again. He takes a nasty punch as Rodriguez is going down. This fight is not going to last much longer if Holland does not mount some kind of actual defense or even try to go offensive off his back. He's got to be very careful here. Holland goes for a butterfly and basically gives up the half guard, and now his left arm is pinned underneath Rodriguez's left leg. He ended up getting that arm out. There's a half guard right now. Holland is trying to control Rodriguez's left arm, and Rodriguez, they're kind of jockeying for hand position right now. Holland is now in a guard, and he looks like he's trying to swim for a. Looked like he was trying to snatch a guillotine from that guard. I didn't think it was gonna work, and it didn't, because I'm psychic. That's what I am. Holland. Oh, Rodriguez tried to stand it back up, and Holland was trying to hold onto his arm, but it is back to standing. Trading punches right now. Holland trying to go for a high plum. Again, like just the way Rodriguez throws his punches is just so uncoordinated. But like, again, he's just like he's just willing to stand in there with you, you know. Holland, nice double leg takedown from Holland. He ended up ducking under a cross that was loaded up on by Rodriguez. Holland now has the top position in a half guard. Holland trying to pressure down on Rodriguez, trying to make sure he doesn't have any room to breathe. He does some hammer fists to the leg Now he's just kind of pitter pattering against Rodriguez's head, literally knocking on his head like a door, literally going on his head. That's pretty funny. Holland trying to posture up. We have a knee shield from Rodriguez. Knee shield from Rodriguez, and he's trying his best to hammer fist. That would have been... Oh, Rodriguez gets out of... Oh. Developing situation here. Rodriguez was... Damn. Rodriguez tried to stand up. He didn't end up standing up. Instead, he ended up in a guard, and then Holland went for a Darce choke as he did try to stand up, and he couldn't quite get it. Now, Rodriguez is up against the cage with Holland pressing him there. Holland throws a knee, doesn't land, and ooh, Holland throws a cross that misses, and Rodriguez landed a looping left hook. We have Holland shooting him for the takedown again, more so level change than shooting in, you know? Kind of let Rodriguez run into him there. That's not a bad strategy from Holland. Ooh, but Holland is caught in a guillotine. He did not end up getting the finish there. Holland is now out there in an over-under situation. This isn't a bad fight either. I don't hate this fight. Ooh, jumping knee attempt from Holland. It partially lands, but not enough to actually do much of anything. That was a good round. That was a good round, I have to say. It's like I said, you know, I was talking through that first round. You know, I'm never disappointed to see Kevin Holland on a card. You know, no matter who he's fighting, it's usually a good fight. You know, he makes it entertaining in one way or another. Haven't heard Holland talk at all this fight. Yeah, he is kind of having it taken to him a little bit, you know. I mean, I think Holland is going to dominate on the ground. I think he knows that, and that's why he's going to the ground now, you know. Rodriguez, ooh, that was right on the chin. That almost looked like Holland got knocked out on his feet and woke up. It almost looked like a flash knockout like a flash knockout that was so quick he didn't even go down. But yeah, I think in this third round we're gonna see Kevin grapple a lot more because I don't think Rodriguez has the grappling chops that Holland has. And then in addition to that, Rodriguez is also doing a lot of charging forward, and that's gonna make it a lot easier for Kevin Holland to get that takedown, you know. Across the body from Rodriguez. Holland tried to return, but he couldn't quite land. Jab from Rodriguez doesn't land. Cross the body from Rodriguez lands again. I think he might be going cross. Ooh, jab cross from Rodriguez does not land. I think he might be going across the body to try and make Kevin think about that level change, you know? Because anything thrown to the body becomes the head when you level change, you know. That's like it happened to me in that fight that I won you know, in about 10 years ago now. Jeez. Sorry, I'm trying to like keep pace with what's going on here, you know. I was gonna throw a kick to the liver and the dude ducked into it and I ended up kicking him in the head. Like, that's why you throw kicks, not just to the leg, but also to the body on a wrestler. But the trade-off is that when you throw kicks, sometimes they'll catch them, you know? And it's not just kicks, it's also, like, you know, uppercuts, it's knees, you know, things like that. Oh, Kevin Holland throws an uppercut from the dirty boxing, and he ends up knocking Rodriguez down. Rodriguez in a little bit of trouble now. I think he's mostly okay. Either A, he recovered very quickly, or he was ooh, okay, Rodriguez up. Rodriguez pushes Holland off, and he is now up, and Rodriguez is now against the cage with Holland holding him there. I don't know if Rodriguez was actually hurt, or if he just felt, ooh, he's hurt now. Couple of nice shots from Holland. More nice shots from Holland. Rodriguez just kind of holding on for dear life, going almost completely defensive. But he throws a couple that land on Holland. He's making it. He's trying to make it tough. He's making it hard. You know, another uppercut from Holland, the same punch that put Rodriguez down a second ago. Baby, did did he just say farofa and soprasada? Oh my gosh, dude. Brazilian fight pass, everybody. He hit him with the farofa and the soprasada. So there was another jumping knee attempt from Holland. Sorry, I was taken aback by the food talk from the Brazilian announcers. That was hilarious to me. But there was a takedown from Rodriguez that was reversed by Holland, and now Holland has a rear naked choke position on Rodriguez, but it's not that great. He might be able to get out, possibly, and he is out. He is out of there. Yeah, there was actually a pretty nice takedown from Rodriguez, but like I said, Holland was able to reverse it. You know, he ended up getting an outside reap. That was cool. You know, and Holland is trying to set up a triangle, but I don't know if it's going to work. And Rodriguez grabbing the cage. I think cage grabbing should be legal. If I'm being completely and totally honest with you, I think if you don't want people grabbing the cage, make it a ring instead. You know. Like if somebody grabs a cage to avoid a takedown, I think that maybe you should award the takedown. But other than that, like there's other situations. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Rodriguez has mounted Kevin Holland though. He's throwing some punches. Holland bumps to try and reverse where his position is. That way he could actually get out of there using the cage, is what it appears. And yes, Holland actually pushes off the cage. You see, you can use the cage to do other things. Like Kevin Holland just used the cage to escape that position. But he is now in a... Ooh, this is a... He was in sort of like a guillotine, sort of like a Darce position. It was a little bit weird, you know? Like this... Rodriguez is not bad at jiu-jitsu, but like you can see he's a little bit unrefined in some ways, you know? Positionally, he's not terrible. He had a really nice takedown a little bit ago. We have Rodriguez back in the mount position with a little under 10 seconds to go. This is probably where it's going to stay. And I don't see them giving this to Kevin Holland. I got to be honest with you. I think it's probably going to go to Rodriguez. I could see that being the case. And I mean, again, that was a good fight, you know? Like, the best fights don't always have to be the most technically sound fights. And, like, you actually see that. The most exciting fights are, like, debut amateurs because they have that nervous energy and they have that enthusiasm and stuff like that. And whatever they're going to do, they're going to go out there and they're going to do it as hard as they can and as fast as they can, you know? Oh. Li Jinglang versus Daniel Rod was a steal from Lee. Um, make a ring of duct tape, says Baja Candle, exactly, you know? I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna have something that's proprietary like that, or not proprietary, but you know, the octagon, I guess you could say, is proprietary to a certain degree. But the cage itself, if you're gonna have the cage, you gotta allow people to use it, you know? And if you can use it to escape the mount position by pushing off and using like a super bump, is basically what that's like. It's like fucking super bumping out of the position and rolling with it. You should allow people to like use it to steady. They should be able to grab it to steady. They should be able to grab it to get up and stuff like that, you know. But you know, there's a debate to be had. There's a debate to be had, I'm sure. Sorry, like I said, I gotta eat my dinner. Oh, karate combat's pit fighting is nice. Karate combat is nice, but It kind of sucks that they're just turning into kickboxing with like 25 seconds of ground and pound. I think you have like 10 to 20 seconds of ground and pound that you're allowed to do, and there's no submissions. Um, I always liked in the early days the fact that it was supposed to be karate guys. But now you have dudes that are like, yeah, I've never done karate in my life, but I'm fighting for karate combat. It's like, so then it's just combat. It's just combat then. That's all it is, you know? Like, from a business standpoint, I understand having some of these guys on that are like more known guys. That's what BKFC does. That's why BKFC is the most um recognizable bare knuckle um organization in the world at this point, right? It's not because they're that much better. It's because they're the ones who get Conor McGregor to sign with them for like a promotional deal. They get all these former um they get all these former UFC guys who retire, and then they're like, actually no, I don't want to retire, or they get cut from the org or something like that, you know? Like, I get it. I understand. I don't hate you for it, you know? But uh, you know, you think those two are fucking? Wouldn't surprise me if Kamaru Usman and Kayla Harrison were fucking. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. Uh-oh. Dude, Paulo Costa is great. I love that dude. I've seen him fight like twice, but his Twitter presence is just the fucking best. Oh, excuse me. Um, so you think the stoppage in the Derek Lewis fight was bad last weekend? Kind of, kind of. And this goes to what I was talking about with grabbing the fence. Um, a lot of people thought that it was bullshit, that stoppage last weekend, until they saw the fence grab. That's what happened with I think his last name was Teixeira or something like that. Um, he grabbed the fence and climbed up, and then he turned around and he started to try and fight back. I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, you're fucking sitting here and like you're sitting here, you're taking punches to the head, and you're trying with everything you can to try to get up and mount some kind of defense or offense or whatever you're trying to do. Like, to me, that's not like, oh dude, he was so fucked up he had to grab the fence to get up. That was, he was so determined to get back to a fighting position that he took and the quickest route, and the one that makes the most sense, which is to get up as quick as you can by grabbing the fence. I thought I saw somebody I recognize on there from my region, but I was like, no, that dude's not in the UFC. Um, but yeah, it's like, I didn't love the stoppage. There was a time in the UFC, like the Pat Barry Czech Congo fight. If you watch that, I'd love to be able to show it, but unfortunately I can't, because the UFC is awful about their stuff. You can't show anything for any reason at all, or else they're gonna DMCA you or whatever. Um, but like, look up after this. Don't leave me. Don't you leave me. But after this, look up Czech Congo. It's like CHIECK or something like that. Congo versus Pat Barry. This dude was this dude this the fight would have been stopped 3 or 4 times, is all I'm saying. I'm not going to spoil it for you too much. The fight would have been stopped 3 or 4 times before what happened at the end happened, right? And both of those guys are still alive and kicking. They're both fine for the most part. Pat Barry, bit of a weird guy to my understanding. Bit of an understatement there, actually. But um Overall, though, like, a lot of the times when these stoppages are happening, they're early stoppages compared to what we would have allowed years and years ago, and everybody was fine. And it's because at the end of the day, like, it's not like one and done for the most part. Sometimes things can go wrong. Sometimes things can go wrong. Sometimes bad things happen. You know, it's awful, but it happens. You know, this is the sport we're in, right? But all I'm saying is look up Czech Congo versus Pat Barry, right? And you'll see that, like, oh, that's how the UFC actually used to be. And you'll see that regardless of the fence grab, you'll see that yes, that was kind of an early fucking stoppage. You know? You can talk about what we know about CTE and all this stuff. We've known about CTE forever. We just called it different things and we didn't have brain scans. There was always the empirical evidence of, oh, that guy took a few too many punches. Wow. There was always the understanding that, like, getting knocked out once may not leave you like that, right? But like repeatedly over the course of 10 to 15 to 20 years, yeah, you'll probably start to, you'll start to, you're going to be left like that. Overall, though, like, I think a lot of stoppages today are early. I don't complain about it because they're just trying to look out for the safety of the fighters. But every now and again, there is a stoppage that's so egregiously, like, bad that it's just like, man, that does suck. Your fence grabbing comments are why I asked about that. I'm familiar with the Congo fight. The only reason you can't call the Lewis stoppage a bad stoppage is because of the rule set. I get what you're saying, though. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, you know? Sorry, I'm just looking around right now. Sorry, I'm like sitting here eating while I'm supposed to be calling these fights and stuff like that. But, like, you know, I got food in front of me. I got shrimp, bacon, and tacos, and they're mad good. I don't know much about this Kopilov, dude. His highlights are nice, though. I'll say that. This dude's nose has been broken and it never fully healed right. His nose goes like, and then there's like a divot here that like flattens out here, and then it just, you know. Scott, how many noses have you broken? I haven't broken anybody's nose, but I'm pretty sure I broke somebody's rib once. Um, I got into a fight. There was a group of people, and it was like my friends were kind of in the middle of this thing, and it kind of turned into a ridiculous melee where, like, for some reason, these guys over here were all kind of like teamed up, and then my guys, and then everybody else who happened to be around us were just like, I guess we're teamed up, you know. It wasn't like a hooligan, like, yeah, we're gonna win. It was like, I don't know, everybody over there is not punching each other. Instead, they're punching us. So I guess we're not gonna punch each other. We're just gonna punch them. Um, and there was this one dude who took a swing at my friend and missed, and he fell over. And as he was popping up, I came in, and I didn't want to hit him like in the back of the head or anything like that. That wouldn't have been cool. That could have, excuse me, that could have, excuse me, jeez, thank you. that could have seriously injured him in like a way that would be permanent or worse, you know. And I not only did I not want to do that to the guy necessarily, but then in addition to that, I didn't want to get in trouble for that. But also, this dude just took a swing at my friend, and just because he fell over, it doesn't mean I'm gonna be like he's not a threat to me. No, he could get up and be a threat to me. So I threw a punch as he was getting up, basically like right here, and I felt like when you punch someone specifically in the body, you feel your knuckles sink in, and I felt something crack or break or something like that. I just felt the knuckles sink in and something gave. And I was like, oh. And this guy, he turned around, looked like, oh, fuck. And then he ran. He probably, if he did break something, he probably didn't even feel it. Actually, I might have broken somebody's nose once in that fight that I was talking about where I landed that head kick. I might have broken his nose. I'm pretty sure he told me he did. Me and him were cool. He actually does a comedy. He actually does comedy. I've seen him do his thing. He's a really funny guy. We've reminisced on that. We've talked about it here and there. I think Eddie on Congregated was asking who won tonight's fight if it's over and you want to TTS him. It's not over yet, but excuse me, we have the co-main event up right now. We have the co-main event happening, and then after that, it's going to be the main event. What's he manging on? I got shrimp bacon tacos. Yeah. I got home late. I wasn't able to eat dinner in the city. It just didn't work out, so we had to order something. Jeez. 808 viewers, not concurrent, but I have a feeling a bunch of people on Twitter were looking for a stream of UFC 318, and they were probably like, oh, dude, maybe this guy is streaming it, and I'm not. Shrimp bacon taco. Damn, we don't have stuff like that in Britain. Make it. You know? But it's like Mr. Bean said, we have the recipes. We can send them back. That's what we're gonna do, baby. I have the recipes, so you can go back now. Bye. Oh man. Um. Oh, they don't have the same bacon in Britain. Damn, that sucks. That that that, that sucks because American bacon is great. I have to say. Um, you taking Dustin or Max tonight? I'd like to see Dustin win because it's his final fight. It's his retirement match. But there's something that tells me Max Holloway just because he's been killing it lately. Aside from that fight with Porier, and it's like, okay, well, that's Ilya Porier, so whatever. Yeah, they get a better cut. They get a better cut for the bacon, really? I don't think. I'll be honest with you. I don't think England deserves it. I don't think England deserves a better cut of bacon than America does. I think America deserves. We fought for it. We killed them for the right to have better bacon than them. That's it's specifically mentioned in the Constitution. All right, so we have Paulo Costa literally running out, aggressive right away, throws a kick, and Kopylov, we're just going to call him Roman because Kopylov is a mouthful. Roman throws a right hook because he is a lefty. So this is a lefty-righty battle. Hard kick that lands from Costa. Faked kick from Costa. I almost keep calling him Kopylov again. Fucking Roman backs off. It's almost... Ooh, cross from Roman misses Costa. It's almost funny seeing Paulo Costa fight. It's almost like, wait, he does that? He still does that? He still fights? What's he doing in the octagon right now? He's the funny Twitter guy. What's he doing here? What's going on? Another fake kick from Costa. They're both kind of just staring at each other right now. An actual kick from Costa kind of grazes a little bit. You know, Costa's got to be careful throwing those naked low kicks because those are really easy to check, especially when it's a lefty-righty battle like that. Ooh, Costa throws a cross on Kopylov, who is moving in. You see, here I am again. Ooh, nice kick to the midsection from Costa. Costa's taking, ooh, nice kick to the leg from Costa. Costa's taking the aggressor role right now, but he's got to be careful because, you know, Kopylov, whatever I call him, whatever his name is, the Russian, fucking, you know, you can tell he's trying to figure out Costa right now, and he will start to land. And especially with those low hands that Costa has, that's going to be real bad for him if he ends up rushing in and gets caught. Kick from Costa. I don't know exactly what happened there. It's weird. Like, nothing was stopping him from landing from the look of it, but he just didn't land. Or at least it didn't appear to land. Maybe he was attacking the back leg. I don't know. Oh, yeah, he maybe he was attacking the back leg. He attacked the back leg of Kopylov, and he landed. You see, if Costa keeps throwing those, it's going to have an effect on Kopylov, and the punches are going to slow down, you know? The punches are going to slow down. They're going to become a lot more tolerable, and then Costa can actually start working his hands a little bit more. And the thing is, Kopylov is not... He's not doing anything about him. He's just taking those kicks. Ooh, nice hook from Costa. Another kick from Costa. Again, very, very active first round from Costa. That doesn't mean it's a win. Obviously, I do think Roman Kopylov is probably just trying to figure him out right now. Ooh, cross up the middle, and that was a quick cross up the middle. Didn't look like it was quick, but it didn't look like there was a ton on it. I got to be honest with you. I think maybe he's got really quick hands, and they can be a problem, but also like, one punch in and of itself is not always going to be, it's not going to hurt that much. There was a high kick from Costa that did not land. Kopylov ended up deflecting it, and then there was a low kick from Costa. A hook to a midsection kick, followed by a low kick from Costa. So Costa's doing a good job of keeping those kicks, ooh, cross up the middle. Yeah, Kopylov is quick, but he's throwing with his arms a lot, from what I'm seeing. You know, he's still like the few crosses that he's thrown, they're not actually like turned on. He's just kind of like, you know, whipping them out there. But yeah, one thing Costa's doing a good job of is he's mixing up his kicks. He's not just going to the same place each time, which that can actually make it a little bit difficult to do anything about him. You know, he's going high, he's going low, he's going mid. He's going inside, he's going outside, he's attacking the front leg, he's attacking the back leg. It's actually really fun to see. Ooh! Kopylov, I believe, got caught on the way in, and now he is in a little bit of trouble here. He's in for a single leg, and Costa is absolutely letting him have it right now. He's got to do something, or else this fight is going to be stopped. Kopylov climbs back to his feet. They're going to have to get his mouth guard soon. His mouth guard flew out. Like, I hate what Khabib Nurmagomedov has done to MMA so much that even when there's like an exciting Russian fighter, I almost want to see him lose. You know. Plus, I like Paulo Costa as well. You know, he's a fun personality, and I'd love to see him around in high level MMA, just to see more antics. Like, literally, you know. Paulo Costa could easily be a fan favorite, you know? But yeah, he's doing a good job of mixing everything up. You know, he's even going to the body on those punches. You can see a little bit of coloration on Kopalov's midsection from some of those punches. Yeah, I mean that's doubtlessly a Paulo Costa round. There's no question there. We'll see if Kopylov can open up a little bit more. I think what he needs to do is he needs to go first a little bit more because he's allowing Costa to go first, and that's why Paulo is able to do what he's doing. Not only is Paulo going first, but he's also going first in a way that makes it really uncomfortable for Kopylov to do anything because he isn't sure what's going to be coming, especially with those kicks. You know, you set a pattern and then you break it. You know, you make a pattern, you break a pattern. You see that they're showing. Oh yeah, that was a nice shot from Costa. That was a really nice shot from Costa. That was a cross up the middle. He stepped to the outside of what was a jab from Kopylov, and he landed that cross and knocked his mouth guard clear out. But yeah, you can see they're favoring, the UFC is favoring Kopylov because they're showing his highlights as if Paulo Costa didn't dominate that whole first round. Literally, they show two of his highlights and then they show Paulo's knockdown. That's a 10-8 round right there because of the knockdown. But what I was saying is Kopylov needs to go first a little bit more. You know, he needs to, when he gets into range, he needs to be the one to fire off first because Costa is making it really difficult for him to set. He's got to go in there ready to throw right away, you know? If anything, he should probably start moving backwards and sideways. He should make Costa, a couple of really nice kicks from Costa. Another nice kick from Costa. He needs to make Costa chase him, you know? Right now, he's walking into whatever Costa wants to do. And I think Costa probably game planned for that to some degree. I mean, if there's one thing I can tell from Kopylov, from watching this, as well as from watching the highlights that they showed before this, he's got really fast and really intense hands. But he's going to have to nice kick from Kopylov. And again, not Kopylov, Costa. And throwing kicks to the arms like that is good, too, because the legs will slow the whole body down. The arms will slow the punches down. Meaning, when you nice counter from Kopylov, you know. And what I was saying is, it's very clear that Kopylov needs to be able to throw 3, 4, 5 punch combinations and overwhelm, and then he'll hit you with that one that is really nice cross to the body from Costa. It was more of an uppercut, but it's clear that he needs to be able to throw like 3, 4, 5 punches, and one of those punches will be the one that really gets you. But Costa is being so active that he can't, he meaning Kopylov, can't sit down into those punches. And then in addition to that, as the fight goes on, you're going to see his whole body slow down because of those leg kicks and the body kicks that have been landing as well, now that I think of it. There's been a couple of nice body kicks. And then even with the body kicks that are deflected, it's not fun to take kicks off of your arm. It kind of fucking sucks. And eventually your arms will slow down. So Paulo Costa's working a really good game plan for this dude right now. It seems as though he game planned really, really well. And this is actually, even though it's very one-sided, it's actually kind of exciting because of the way you're seeing Costa fight. Costa's really looking good right now, you know? Like, we're seeing some greatness from this dude, which, cross up the middle again, wobbles him. Costa picking shots, not over pursuing. Another kick to the body. Yeah, Costa's picking this dude apart at this point. Costa's picking this dude apart. He's being patient, you know. Yeah. And now Kopylov is overreacting. Anytime Costa moves towards him in a way he doesn't like, he's shelling up, and that's giving Costa the body, and he's landing. Oh yeah. You see, this is what I love. Nice cross up the middle again. You could tell that hurt Kopylov. This is what I like, where it's like, even when it's a one-sided fight, even when one dude is not able to do much, you're seeing the brutal chess match that's going on. Where again, Costa is mixing everything up. He's going low, then he's going high, then he's going low again, then he's giving you one to the body. Then he's giving you another one to the body when you think he's not going to go there because you just gave him one to the body, because he just gave you one to the body, excuse me. This is like really fun to watch. This is like ooh, nice jab from Kopilov. But what I was saying is like this feels, this to a certain degree almost feels a little bit like Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree. I'm not saying it's the exact same thing, um, but like we're seeing really good striking. We're seeing high level striking, not just in movements but also in strategy. And that's what makes me nerd out. That's what I really love about fight sports, is that you're not just going out there and throwing punches. It's that there is a strategy behind it, um, where like again, it's like, hey, I'm leaving it all out there. I don't want there to be a point finish. I don't want to win on points. Ooh, nice cross to the body followed by a hook that misses from Costa. Yeah, Kopilov just doesn't have an answer. Anytime he tries to move in, Costa's just outworking him, you know? It makes me wonder how that third round is going to go, though, because Costa, you can tell, is slowing down a little bit. You know, he isn't throwing as many kicks. That's because kicks suck to throw when you're tired. You know, kicks, you're using the biggest muscles on your body, and because of that, they're really tough to continuously throw. You know, but they've been doing exactly what he needs them to do this entire fight, and now because of that, Kopilov has nothing. He doesn't have an answer. You know. Would you fight Costa? I'd fight anybody, you know? If they called me for a UFC contract tomorrow, like, we want you to fight Costa, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds fun, you know? Fucking, why wouldn't I, you know? They wouldn't call me for that, though. You do a great job of describing the scene. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Um, but yeah, like I criticize modern MMA because you have a lot of guys who they're trying to point their way to victory. And I don't like, I understand, I'm not going to hate people for wanting to maximize their success while minimizing the damage that they take and stuff like that. And that's what those strategies are. That's where they come from. So I'm not going to hate somebody for that. However, what I got into MMA and other martial arts for is exactly what's happening with Paulo Costa, where he's going for the knockout. Everything he's doing is designed to try and knock this dude out. And you're seeing it, like, that was a hard kick right there. That was a hard teep to the body that didn't land from Paulo Costa. You know, it's like there's gotta be that hate in your heart, you know? There's gotta be that hate in your heart. That's what I got into it for. Not like, okay, point sparring, but kind of not, but also kind of. I got into it because it's like, no, like, sure, I might have a game plan, but that game plan is to try and send your head into the upper rows, you know? And that's what Paulo Costa is doing right now, and that's why I'm loving this fight so much. Nice jab from Costa again. And again, like, low kick from Costa. You know, you can tell he's tired. Kopilov is kind of leading right now. You know, he's marching Costa down, but he still is just unable to get anything going. He moved in with an overhand, it didn't work. Paulo returned with a hook that it kind of grazed a little bit. There was a cross up the middle from Kopilov. You know, this is what MMA is supposed to be. You know, it's not supposed to be like, let's point our way to victory. It's not supposed to be point karate. It's supposed to be, hey, I'm trying to put you to sleep. I'm trying to put you away. A decision is what we begrudgingly accept when we have been fighting for so long that everyone's like, okay, I've had enough of this, you know? Again, you can see, ooh, nobody really landed there. I don't know. It looked like Paulo was like, ah, you got me there. Kick from Paulo. But yeah, you can tell Paulo Costa is really tired, and that's a result of his game plan, but he's still working through it, which is good. He's still working that body. There was a cross up the middle, looked like it may have landed. Ooh, hook looks like it landed, and a hook from Kopilov actually wobbled Costa a little bit. Cross up the middle that Kopilov eats. If I was Paulo, honestly, I would coast this round. And that's kind of what he's trying to do, but he also doesn't want to, like, I'm almost nervous because I don't want to see Costa lose after this absolutely amazing performance. I think he's earned this win. But even then, like, if Kopylov wins, it's like, well, he weathered that storm and he still was able to come back, so good for him, you know? But like, if I was Costa, I'd be trying to keep my hands up to the best of my ability, and I'd be on my horse, you know? But then again, also, that would probably ruin everything that I'm talking about right now, you know? But I could understand it, I guess you could say. Cross up the middle from Kopylov. Looks like it was deflected. It was a hook to the body that may have landed on Costa from Kopylov. Jab from Kopylov. Think it might have landed grazing the forehead, and Costa, excuse me, throws a kick. Jab up the middle from Costa. He's kind of waving him on to go against the cage. Kopylov throws a cross hook, then another cross. Costa taunting him right now. Throws a cross to the body, followed by another kick to the body. I'd like to see Costa throw a kick to the body and then come around with a cross right after that, because Kopylov is lowering his hands so low to deflect those kicks. It's insane, you know. It'd be nice to see him fake a kick and then throw a cross right off of that. I think he would not. I think he would get another knockdown. Ooh, takedown attempt from Paulo Costa, but it does not land. It does not hit. Costa level changed like he was going to try and shoot for another takedown. He took a tie plum and he tried to throw a knee. It's funny, we're seeing, Kopylov lunges in, lands a leaping jab on Costa, followed up with a couple more, but I don't think he landed anything else. Cross up the middle kind of bops Kopylov. Another cross up the middle bops him. Jab from Kopylov, don't think it really landed. Yeah, Kopylov is scared of those kicks, specifically to the midsection. If Costa, Costa in for a takedown, not even a takedown, he just kind of closed distance and tried to clinch. A cross up the middle from Costa, and Kopylov was hurt for a moment. He ends up throwing that hook and then a body uppercut, throws an inner leg, then Kopylov returns with a midsection kick, and then he tries to throw a punch. Costa working the body more. Kopylov throws a head kick and he falls, and that is the end of the fight. I think there is no question that Paulo Costa did a really good job on that fight, and he is going to take it home. I am still really mad that he didn't answer my question the other day. He said he was going to answer questions on Twitter, and I asked him if he's bigger or smaller than Conor McGregor. He did not answer my question. I'm a little bit salty about that. But I think after this performance, I'm not mad anymore. I don't think I'm angry anymore. Did you there are 800 plus in here? No, there's no way there's 800 plus in here, Paul. I wish there was 800 plus in here. That'd be fantastic, but no, there's no way there's 800 plus in here. I am not popular enough. Are you a follower of mine from Twitter? From Twitter, of course you are. Of course you are. You know, Paul, you're watching on Twitter. But are you a follower of mine from Fish Tank, or did you just happen to find me because I'm streaming, talking about the UFC 318 card? I'm curious. I'm not that popular even in the Fish Tank world. You know, people know who I am, but a lot of people don't like me very much because I'm not a lol cow. I don't show my dick on streams and other weird shit like that. So, from the stream, yeah. Paul, you should check out fishtank.live. It's not running right now, but it's a reality show that's on the internet. It's a really good reality show. I've been on it a couple of seasons. They're gonna have season 5 probably in the next 4 to 6 months. But yeah, really, really, really fun. But thank you for being here. Thank you very much for being here, Paul. I appreciate you. But yeah, so Paulo Borrachinha, fucking Paulo Costa, he wins, and honestly, that was great to see him do that, man. That was a great performance. That was a masterful performance. You know, and I guarantee you, nobody thought he was going to win that. I didn't even think he was going to win that. I thought they were giving Paulo Costa to Kopylov to beat, so that he could have a well-known name on his his resume, His fish tank back up. El Estanque, which is quite literally, Mexican fish tank. Actually, it's El Salvadorian. El Salvadorian fish tank is on the fish tank site now, as of today. So that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, other than that, fish tank is like not running a season right now. Man. Yeah, these highlights are good, and the UFC didn't want or expect that to happen because you remember what I said after that first round. They showed highlights of Kopilov, like all fucking like two punches and kicks that he landed in that first round, and then they have to show the knockdown, so they show the knockdown from Costa. They didn't want Costa to win, and they didn't think he was going to win, so they were already trying to build up Kopilov. You're good. Yeah. Could you are those my Cayman Jacks? Could you throw? I think there's two of them. Could you throw them in the freezer so that I can grab them in a minute? Thank you, baby. Was Sam Hyde on that show? Sam Hyde was a was not a, but he's the host of the show. Sam Hyde is the host of the show. Um, he goes by some form of Gold Striker. That's the name that he usually goes by. But yeah, really good show. I'm involved with it on a certain level, and yeah, it's fun. Oh, excuse me. Um, We Game Doe and Jeffrey B. Well, We Game Doe says found you from PKA. Nice. I'm hoping I can get back on there in the future because I'm learning how to handle myself on PKA, and I'm realizing all I need to do is just interrupt more, and also like steer the conversation as forcefully as I possibly can towards whatever I want to talk about. I'm realizing that's just how it works on PKA. So I'm getting a little more comfortable with the idea. I got my boy Taylor on there. Um, so but yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. He's so geeky. Is it like a challenge? Uh, fame show? Um, not exactly. It's more like a fuck with people for 6 weeks show. It's like a prank show if the pranks didn't stop after you figured out about the prank. Like picture Impractical Jokers, but instead of them going out into the world and pranking one person one time, people get brought in and they get fucked with on a level that even the Impractical Jokers would be like, I don't know if we should be doing this. It's not exactly the best way to describe it, but I mean, that's the way that's coming to me right this second. Oh, excuse me. Like Big Brother, like with Impractical Jokers. I guess that's a way you could describe it to somebody who has absolutely positively no idea what it is or what it could be. I suppose that's a way you could describe it. Yeah. They're trying to convince us that UFC BJJ is exciting. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. Uh, well, sorry. Again, like I've had this food for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So like I gotta kind of eat it. One moment, please. Anyway, yes, sir. I love when you're on. You seem to vibe well with Taylor too. Hope that friendship grows. Yeah, yeah. Like Taylor's a really cool guy, and I really appreciate him. Because like I started playing AOE, he didn't have to be like, oh yeah, I'll play with you. You know. Um, in addition to that, he didn't have to be like, oh yeah, also I'll introduce you to my friends. Like I know, I won't say like I know them because it's not like we've met in real life before, but like I'm cool with Taylor's real life friends, you know? He didn't have to do that. He could have been like, hey, cool, it's good to see you playing AoE. I'll talk to you later, bud. You know? He didn't have to put up with me sucking at it for so long, you know? I'm still not great at it. But like, I appreciate that kind of thing from people, you know? Like even someone like Harley Morenstein, right? I helped Harley get ready for his fight for like 2 or 3 hours. There was one session that I was involved in. I was supposed to be involved in more, but I was coming off a sickness, and because of that, I could only go the last day that he was there. Um, and this dude put me in his video on his training with Sam. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to have me front and center for anything. He didn't have to have my name like title card or anything like that. He didn't have to do that, but he did it. And then on top of that, like when I hit him up, he still gets back to me. I'll hit up Harley every now and again for a legit reason. It's not just like, "Hi Harley, how you doing?" It's not just that. It's like, "Hey, figured you'd like to know this or whatever." And he'll get back to me. There's no like Hollywood or anything like that. Like that's something I appreciate the hell out of. And because of that, like I got Harley's back, you know? Like someone accuses him of doing some stupid shit. I don't believe it. That's not the Harley that I became slightly acquainted with, you know? But you guys get what I mean, you know? Kindness goes a long way with me, you know? And Taylor's been kind to me. So I appreciate him, and I got his back, you know? I got his back as far as some fucking guy he met on the internet can have it, you know? Um, do you think Taylor would ever invest in Fish Tank? He seems like he has a rich appreciation for it. I don't know monetarily. I don't know if he would monetarily invest in it. Maybe not. I don't know. You know. Um, fuck. What was I gonna say? When I describe when I describe Fish Tank, I tell people they have locked 10-ish, 10-ish. Might be 11, might be 9, might be 10 and a half, you know. Um, I tell people they have locked 10-ish autistic people in a house and make them do challenges for money. I mean, that's probably the most technical. That's probably the most technical definition of what Fish Tank is. That's oh, sorry, just looking at something. But yeah, that's the most like broken down to its elements. That's the most technical definition of Fish Tank, I would say, is locking autistic people in a house and make them do challenges for money. That's broken down to its purest form. Taylor's the only normal person on PKA. LOL. Seems like a stand-up guy. Yeah, like I like Woody and Kyle. It's still crazy to me that I got to be on one stream, let alone multiple streams with like a YouTube legend Kyle, you know, FPS Kyle, FPS Russia, and things like that. And I'm so appreciative of those guys for allowing me back on too, even if it's just as filler episodes. I know like I'm not the guy that everyone's like, oh dude, Scott's gonna be on, dude, that's great. I know. I'm a filler episode guy, if anything, right? And I'm cool with that. Um, but like they're 2/3 of the show. So they can be like, yo, Taylor, I know that's your boy, but we don't want him on. We don't like him. Like they could easily do that, but they allow me on, you know? It's just they've been doing it for so long, and as long as Taylor has been doing it, Kyle and Woody have been doing it for even longer. What they set it up in like 2007, 2008, something like that. Like a long time before Taylor was a host on there. Um, I forget when they set up PKA originally, but the point is like they have a way that they're doing their shit, and like me as the guy who's just there for the filler episode, like I have to learn how to meld with that and how to inject myself more and make myself more of a presence without it having to be like Taylor remembering that I'm here, like, oh yeah, so Scott, what do you think about that? You know? But like not that I'm treating it like a learning experience or anything like that, but every time I go on there, I feel a little bit more comfortable. I feel a little bit more natural. I feel like I can kind of like speak without being like annoying or anything, you know? And I have tons of stories and tons of things I could talk about. Like Wendigoon, he talks about conspiracies, he talks about religion. Like I could talk about a bunch of shit. Oh, there is Lil Wayne. Porier's walking out right now. Yeah, Lil Wayne and his entourage. Um, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like I could talk about the Civil War. Like I feel like that's a good PKA topic. Is the Civil War specifically? The Maryland campaign, which is like what I know the most about. Um, the Peninsula campaign. And everything that came after that. When McClellan was replaced by Burnside, like that's my explicit area of expertise, specifically because that's when my ancestor was involved, So I know a lot about what the Second Corps did. I could talk about that, and that's one of those things that I feel would go good on like a PKA episode or something like that. I just have to get better if and when I do make more appearances, if big if, I'm never gonna assume that I'm ever gonna be back or invited to anything like that, But if I do make more appearances, I just have to be like, hey guys, yeah, I'm doing good. Been studying up on the Civil War lately, and then that will like will go right into the next thing, Um, yeah, that name is a death streak from Modern Warfare 2. LOL. Really? I was always wondering where PKA came from. How do you get on? Asks Paul. Get on PKA. Well, since I was involved with Fish Tank and there was a little bit of overlap in the audience, especially because one of the hosts, Taylor, was a big fan of PKA. Somebody suggested that I go on PKA, and Taylor was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have you on." And literally, like I think like a day, like I don't even think they had a guest that week, and they were just like, "All right, here's our guest," you know. Um, but yeah, Taylor shows up to Fish Tank dressed as an owl and pelts contestants with eggs and balls of sawdust. Oh hell yeah, owl pellets, makeshift owl pellets. Um, Man, just remembered that time you almost knocked Greg's block off. Also, are you going to stream congregated? I'll hit up Greg and I'll ask if he's okay with me streaming congregated, right? Because I want to give him the ability to be like, I'd rather not, because I don't want to chance you taking viewers away from me, which I would totally respect. It's just like with Fish Tank season 3. I was originally going to stream as often as I could, and the first stream I got asked, hey, could you not do that? And I was like, all right, sure. But then for season 4, they didn't give a shit about restreamers, so I started doing restreaming and stuff like that. I was like, whatever, well, I guess we're doing it. I originally was not going to because they asked me not to for season 3. But then when I saw everybody else doing it, many of whom are people who were involved, and then also tons who are not involved, it's like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it then. Who cares, But we have Mox. We have Mox. We have Max Holloway walking out right now. Still can't believe Costa won that. It was almost a foregone conclusion. He was going to lose. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I love, man. You know? Did you see the size of those next to Lil Wayne? Wow. Yeah, Lil Wayne's short. He's a short dude, from my understanding. Bringing a couple of Cayman Jacks. Doing our thing here. Max is going to be the first fighter to go 0-3 in 2 trilogies. Really? Who did he lose to? Was it Volk? Did he lose to Volk 3 times? Or did he beat Volk? I forget. These are pretty good. They're not the best I've ever had, but they're good. So he did win the Volk. I say Dustin if it's 2 rounds max if it goes further. I don't think that's unfair. I don't think that's unfair. You know, Max is able to keep it up forever and ever, you know. And yeah, we game though. I'm not sure who's winning. I gotta be honest with you. I try not to make those predictions because I feel that sometimes it gets in the way a little bit. Like you have an expectation now, and I just want to take everything in as it happens. Plus, I've made predictions. I've made predictions in the past, and a lot of the time I'm wrong. Hold on a sec, man. Well. I was gonna say it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about. I do, but in the fight game, 2 + 2 doesn't always equal 4. That's just the way it is. CR says double knockout, double leg break. They're gonna be in 50-50 heel hooking each other, and they're both gonna wrench at the same time. David Hideo says, "Are y'all winning in here?" We never lose, David. We never lose. I have it on good authority that we are only taking dubs here. Max is the GOAT, though. Ever since I watched him set the record for most strikes in a match, I've been shocked, and he took down Justin Gaethje. Yeah. That one hurt, because that was against Calvin Kattar. You know? It sucks seeing a hometown guy, have something like that happen to him, but Calvin Kattar's good, too, so, like, I think that really just shows how good Max Holloway is, you know? That's not a Calvin Kattar's that bad thing. That's a Max Holloway's that good thing, you know? Scott, are you drinking Earn Brew? Yeah, dude. We got that Cayman Jack. Who else on crack streams? I actually have a Brazilian. I have Brazilian Fight Pass. It's like how much, baby, are you awake? Good to know. How much is Brazilian Fight Pass?
I think it's 20, they need 25 guys.
Yeah, and that's like, yeah, like 20 to 25 AIs. That's about $5 a month. Yeah, it's like $5 a month for Brazilian Fight Pass, and it's nice because like for the most part it is all in English. It's just you don't get Joe Rogan. You get like Nogueira or like Damian Maya or something like that, and he's speaking in Portuguese, you know. But like I don't know if you can hear right now, but they're doing the announcing in English. They don't have like a dub or anything, you know. Let's get a couple more bites of this thing before the fight starts. Dude, the thing that sucks, man, is that they don't want Dustin Poirier to win. Because Dustin Poirier wins, he just beat Max Holloway and he rides off into the sunset. So they want um anyway, like they don't want a situation like that, you know? Once a fight happens, that fight does not matter anymore. And Dana doesn't even pretend it matters anymore. All he cares about is the next fight that happens immediately after that. And that's part of his job, you know? He has to think 4 or 5 cards into the future. That's just how it is, you know? But like because of that, it creates a situation where you don't get to ride off into the sunset. If you ride off into the sunset, Dana White is actually kind of pissed about that because now he has to deal with that fallout, you know? That's what happened with George St. Pierre when he beat Bisping, you know? George St. Pierre beats Bisping and then he's like, actually, I think I'm retired. And he got angry about that. But anyway, so we have round one, Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. Pardon me as I chew a little bit. Not too much happening now anyway. They're definitely feeling each other out a little bit. You know, no one wants to be the first one to go. Overhand right misses from Porier. Cross up the middle. I believe it was deflected by a Holloway. So we have a lefty versus righty battle here. Porier is the lefty. Holloway is the righty. Holloway attacking that lead leg with side kicks as well as a couple of calf kicks we're seeing. Jab from Porier does the white lamb. Jab to the body from Holloway. Hook from Porier doesn't land. Hook cross from Holloway doesn't land either. Nice hard leg kick from Porier. Another stomp kick followed by a high midsection kick from Holloway. Sorry about that. A couple of thudding midsection kicks from Holloway. Another one from Holloway. Holloway really working those kicks to begin with. Porier tries to rush in with what looked like a switch stance left hand. I'm not too sure, though. Ooh, cross up the middle from Holloway, and Porier is hurt. He's on his back. He ends up getting, almost gets back to his feet, but he takes another one on the way up. He is now fighting for the leg. Porier definitely wobbled there, but he recovered very quickly. You know, Porier is kind of known for having a good chin, so high kick from Holloway does not quite land. Midsection kick from Holloway. Again, Holloway really working those kicks. Ooh, hook to the body doesn't quite land, and that cross up top from Holloway almost lands. Porier throws a three-piece, and then he ends with a decently hard low kick to the thigh. Holloway not fades in, but Holloway out rushes in, doesn't really throw anything. Check hook from Porier looks like it may have landed. little bit of excitement in this first round. Ooh, jumping, spinning back kick from Holloway. I don't think it really landed. Even if it did, it definitely didn't land the way he wanted it to. And there's a cross up the middle from Porier that seems to have landed, but didn't really have much of an effect on Holloway. Ooh, cross up the middle from Holloway. That definitely landed. You could hear that thud. Yeah, Holloway is really working those kicks. You know, he's become known for his boxing, but he's really working those kicks. It's got to be a reason for that, you know. Overhand right from Holloway misses. Ooh, another overhand right from Holloway. Almost finds its mark, but Porier was there with his hand to deflect. Oh, excuse me. Uppercut, hook, followed by a short cross. I don't think any of them landed other than maybe that short cross from Holloway. A left hook, right hook combination from Porier. None of them really land. There was a hook up top, followed by a cross to the body from Holloway. He ends up landing the cross to the body. He throws a kick when Porier moves in, and it gets caught, but Porier can't capitalize. Holloway spun out. There's a couple of punches from Porier. None of them really found their mark. Very measured start from both of them. You know, a nice inner leg from Porier. There was a measured start from both of them, but definitely not an ineffective start. You know, you can tell neither of them really want to get hit by the other. You know, they're not really countering. You know, someone goes, the other guy is just firmly on defense. Then the other guy goes, and the original dude is also firmly on defense. They both respect each other's power. They both respect each other's ability. You know, so neither of them really want to try and take chances like that this early in the fight. There was a kick to the body deflected by Porier, followed by a cross that didn't quite make its mark from Holloway. Holloway has thrown multiple spinning back kicks. A lot of the time they have at least a small jump. There's some kind of small leap. I find that interesting. I don't know why he's doing that specifically. Could you beat Kimbo Slice? I don't know. I mean, Kimbo hit hard, but he wasn't known for his technique or his gas tank. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I could have, you know. Regardless, though, to my understanding, he was a really nice guy. So rest in peace to him. If you don't know this already, my MMA coach, was actually present for the one fight that Kimbo Slice lost in the underground bare knuckle boxing. You can find a video of the. Oh yeah, there's the knockdown. You can find a video. You see, Porier does this thing, right? He tries to elbow block, and that's not a bad thing to do at all. But like, these guys get it wrong a lot of the time, and I'll explain later, you know. But if you look up the man who beat Kimbo, the Sean Gannon story, you can either find it on my channel or just type it into YouTube after this. Don't leave me. You will hear the story of that fight. Really good story. It was early in my video making career, if you want to call it that. So it is a little like, it's a little raw. It's a little raw. There were certain things I definitely could have edited out for the sake of not having the video drag on. But overall, it's a really good video. It's one of my most popular videos, and I'm happy it's one of my most popular videos because I've met Sean Gannon multiple times, the guy who beat Kimbo. Before he died, that is, you know, I met him multiple times, and he's just like just a great guy. He was such a great guy. Got to train with him a couple of times, and you know, he's seen me fight and stuff like that. But anyway, we're almost a minute into this second round. I gotta stop shilling my videos, even if they are cool videos. But all right, so nothing too crazy has happened so far. That was a nice cross from Porier. I think it might have almost made its mark. Either that or it almost missed. There was a hook from Porier that seems to have at least glanced Holloway. They're both having a hard time landing on each other, you know? It's like I said, neither of them want to get hit, you can see. Where typically if Porier goes in, Holloway is running. If Holloway moves in, if Holloway swarms, Porier is running, you know? Ooh, that might have been that was a hard kick. might have hurt Poirier a little bit, the way he reacted to that. Ooh, cross up the middle from Poirier is countered by Holloway, who pulls and then comes over the top with his own cross. That was pretty nice to see. It's cool to see slick boxing like that. There was a nice hopping teep from Holloway. I'm noticing that we're not seeing as much leg action from Holloway this round. We are seeing it here and there, but it's not as prominent, I feel like, specifically with those stomp kicks to the lead leg. Ooh, there was a kick attempt, but it was stifled. I'm not exactly sure why. It might have been a cross to the body. I could be wrong, or a punch to the body. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, cross, uppercut, cross combination from Holloway, and it looks like Poirier may be hurt a little bit. Oh yeah, he's definitely hurt now. He's shooting him for the takedown. A couple of those punches got through, but ooh, we have a bit of an armbar situation here. No, but Holloway has the back. Poirier is getting around. Now he is on his back, which is not even necessarily where he needs to be. He just gave up his back to try and escape the punches, and in giving up his back, he was actually able to try his best to get to a better position. And I mean, he is actually out of the mount now, but Poirier definitely does not want to be on bottom right now. He's got a butterfly in, and then he's got a hook. So he's got a butterfly in, and then he's using his left leg to hook that same leg that has the butterfly. Now he gave up the butterfly, and he is in half guard, while Holloway is throwing some very biting elbows, some very annoying elbows. Elbows suck because, like, they can knock you out, but a lot of the time they're not going to knock you out. They're just going to cause a lot of fucking pain. They're just going to cut you up, and they're just not fun to deal with. It's so awful. Ooh, nice upkick from Poirier. I don't know if it landed. Ooh, okay. We have a sweep attempt from Porier that does not quite happen the way he wants it to. Holloway is trying to stack Porier right now. He stacked Porier and then he let it go. It'd be nice to see somebody actually try and go for like a good stack in the UFC. You don't see dudes stack like you do in ooh, nice two-piece fall by a knee from Porier. That definitely hurt Holloway a little bit. He did not like that. You could see. So there was a hook cross from Holloway that didn't land. Porier walks in, and Holloway tries to throw a right hook, but it doesn't land. Nice jab from Porier, followed by a knee attempt that does not find its mark. Ooh, that was a nice left hook to the body from Porier. You see, one of the things about being a lefty that's interesting. Ooh, knockdown. Porier just knocked down Holloway, and he jumps the guillotine. He was in the mount with the guillotine. He jumps the guillotine. He ends up in the mount. He lets go of the guillotine, and now he is absolutely letting Holloway have it as the round ends. The round ends. And that's a tough one right there, because that's a tough one to judge, man, because it was back and forth, no one really doing anything until Holloway ended up landing in a serious way. I mean, I think we're about to see it. Yep. Holloway lands in a serious way, and then he starts really laying into Dustin. And then I think we're about to see, yes. No, I don't think. We're about to see another, yes, the knockdown. You see, like, that's gonna be a tough one to judge, man. That's gonna be a really tough one to judge, dude. You know that? I don't know how you're gonna judge that round, man. That's a really close round to judge. I could see them giving it to either guy. And if I had to give it to somebody, I might give it to Poirier, because he scored a knockdown there. There were moments of domination from Holloway, including top position and stuff like that, but there was an actual knockdown followed by ground and pound that was clearly painful, that clearly hurt. You know, I like both of these guys, but if it's going to be Dustin's last fight, I'd rather see him get the win, honestly. You know, I'd rather see him be the one to ride out on the sunset, you know, to be nice. Max still has a few good years, you know, he's in his prime right now. You know, and in a couple of years he'll start to fade a little bit, and you know, he can have his day to try and ride out into the sunset. But you know, I'd rather see Poirier win right now. So both of them kind of back to the measured start, you know. What the fuck are you talking about? Holloway's career is over now. What are you talking about, bro? What do you mean? What am I talking about? Who's he lost to? Like I don't pay that close attention to Holloway, but my understanding is that he lost to what's his face. Oh, that was a nice overhand from Holloway. He lost to Ilya Topuria, which is like, all right, and that's Ilya Topuria. You know, we'll look into it more. We'll look into it more. But 33 years old is like, you have another year, maybe two, depending on how depending on certain factors. I think Max is someone who will have another good year or two, is what I'm saying. You know, like he'll be able to compete at a high level for another year or two. I think is what I'm saying. You know, but we'll see. We'll see. You know, it's like losing to top tier competition does not mean you're washed. It's like I said, Calvin Cater versus Max Holloway. Like, what happened to Calvin Cater does not show that Calvin Cater sucks. It shows that Max Holloway is that good, you know? And that's what I'm talking about. But anyway, there's that spinning back kick from Holloway again. That's interesting, you know? I told everyone at work to bet on Poirier. I won't be able to show my face Monday if he loses, dude. That would suck. Nice kick to the midsection from Holloway. Holloway swarms. He tries to throw a short cross, doesn't land. He also throws a straight up the middle, does not land. Poirier tried to return, nothing really happened. Ooh, jab cross up the middle. Poirier ate it. Ooh, there was a gazelle jab from Poirier that landed. Sort of a slapping hook. Oh, and then a hook cross by Holloway. You know, at least one of those seemed to have landed. Holloway seems to be using some more kicks right now. He seems to be returning to the kicks a little bit more. Uh-oh. Holloway swarms. A couple of those get through. I think it was like a hook and a cross that ended up getting through. Ooh, it looks like another cross may have got through. I couldn't quite see because of the angle change of the camera. There was a kick up the excuse me, not up the middle, but body kick from Holloway, midsection kick that did not land. And there's that spinning back kick again. It's just funny to see him constantly returning to that well, and sometimes it's working. You know, it's not failing every time. Holloway fakes like he's gonna hook to the body, and then he goes up top. But Poirier was a little bit, you know, he was aware of what was happening. Got a little bit under a minute in this round 3 that we have here. Ooh, there was a cross up the middle from Poirier. I don't know if it landed on the head. It might have landed on the midsection or something like that, or the chest. Holloway threw a kick to the midsection that didn't really land. I'll answer your question in a second, Gully Squad. Just let's get through this. Let's get through this round. You know, we have a little less than 30 seconds left. Ooh, cross up the middle from Holloway. Excuse me. Poirier seemed to catch it here though, so I don't think it hurt too much. Ooh, couple of stiff jabs. Couple of stiff jabs from Poirier. There's another jab. I don't think it landed. A hook followed by a kick from Poirier. None of them really land in earnest. I mean, decent round, decent round. You know, again, like it's been a close fight this entire time. It's kind of hard for me to say who I think is winning. Plus, I'm starting to feel this a little bit, so I'm a little silly right now. Yeah, I mean, Gully Squad, thoughts on the Gorilla Nest incident? I still haven't watched that podcast. I'm not a podcast watcher guy. It's just not something that I really do. I go through phases where I'll watch a podcast religiously for like a week or two. I'll binge it and then I'll be like, what am I doing with my life, you know? Yeah, so I'm not too familiar with exactly every little piece of that, but I will say that I find it interesting that people are freaking out when that's what Sam's known for doing. He's known for going places and like fucking around in that way. That's not a surprise to me. I don't know what specifically makes it so that people are like, dude, this is actually a really bad look for him, dude. This is actually really, dude. Whoa, dude, I can't believe he did that. This is a really bad look. I don't know why people are like that. Beats me. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. I got to be honest with you. You know, Sam, look, everybody behaved exactly the way you would expect them to behave. This is something Shane Gillis talks about. We have a stomping kick from Holloway, followed by a couple of punches that don't seem to have landed. But yeah, what I was saying is like Shane Gillis talked about this when he got canceled. Like everybody behaved pretty much exactly how you would expect them to behave. So there's no reason to be upset about it. Like Sam did what Sam does. Harlan Williams did what I would pretty much expect Harlan Williams to do, or whatever the fuck his last name is. Why did I say Williams? That's not his name. That's not his last name. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean, right? Like I said, I'm a little tipsy here. I'm a little tipsy, but and apparently I'm a lightweight because I haven't even drank much of this. But you know, I don't know. I don't know. Everybody did exactly what you would expect them to do, is what I'm saying, and because of that, it's like, why is everyone acting like it means something? It's like dogs bark, you know, grass grows, and brother, birds fly, grows, and brother, I hurt people. But yeah, Sam Hyde fucks around. Whatever, you know. Anyway, um, so we have a little over 3.5 minutes left in this fight. There has not been anything too major, not in this fight, in this round four. Nothing too major has occurred so far. Again, I think these guys respect each other a little bit too much for there to be like a ton of action, you know? These guys are both known for being dudes that are like game for like a scrap, you know? But I think they both know like, if I'm not careful, I'm going to get nailed. So I gotta be careful, you know? Um, because of that, there's been a lot of boxing from the outside. That was a nice counter from Holloway, although I'm not sure exactly what landed and what didn't. Now we have Porier coming in, opening up a little bit more. This jab right there. He tries to throw a left hook that almost looked like it kind of grazed a little bit. There's a right hook, excuse me, from Porier. There was a jab that looked like it landed from Porier. Holloway tried to throw a double 1-2. None of those really landed. Cross up the middle from Porier doesn't quite land. It looked like Porier just a second ago tried to leap in with a lead hook, and he almost paid the price if he didn't. Ooh, nice few. Holloway goes to the body to try and open up the head. Almost worked. It almost worked. Those punches to the body definitely hurt any of them that landed. I told you guys I was gonna tell you about the gripe, the bone that I have to pick with the elbow guard that Poirier just used a second ago, you know, and he used it to effect too. He used it in actually a pretty good way there, you know. You see in there too. That was not bad, you know. There's a cross to the body there from Holloway that finds its mark, followed by a hook to the body, and then a cross up the middle that finds its mark to the head. And Poirier catches a kick, but he cannot capitalize on it. He lets it go, and they're back at the center. There's a jab from Poirier. That was a nice little combination from Max. He goes cross to the body, and then he ends up going back up to the head, and he makes him. I think he landed, if not all of them, almost all of them. You know, there's like a 3-4 punch combination there. jab to the body followed by a cross up top. I don't think either of them really landed from Holloway. There was a cross from Porier followed by a hook that doesn't quite make its mark. There's a double jab cross from Holloway. Ooh, Holloway got tagged with a short hook as he was moving in. Porier threw an overhand, and I don't know if he got hit or if he just stumbled, but something happened. I couldn't quite get a good look at it. Kick from Holloway does not land. There's a left hook, right hook from Porier, doesn't land. Ooh, that was nice from Holloway. He digs to the body and then he threw to the head, and it didn't hurt Porier, but it was nice to see. It was nice to see, you know. He's starting to go to the head. He's starting to go to the body, and he's being pretty effective there, and there's reasons for that, you know. It's a slapping hook followed by a cross from Holloway. I don't think either of them landed. If one of them did, it was definitely the hook, followed by another slapping hook from Holloway. Ooh, there was a cross thrown by Porier, and Holloway almost caught him with that spinning back kick. That was nice. Now, what I was saying, my gripe with some of the UFC guys out there right now, right, is they don't know how to elbow block effectively, right? Dustin Poirier does it, and every now and again he gets it right, but a lot of the time he gets it wrong. And a lot of the time, these guys get it wrong because they aren't doing it the right way. Like, for instance, you used to see Nate Diaz do this back when he was fighting. He'd just stand like this for no reason. He'd just be here for no reason. And you see where I'm at, right? Where my elbow's flared out, so if someone was to punch this, it would hurt. But the thing is, you see how low it is in the first place, where it's not protecting my head at all, right? So, okay, this is protected, but none of this is protected, right? And then what would happen, too, is you would see someone step in to throw a jab cross or something like that, and he wouldn't shell further. He'd, like, whoa, he'd come back here. So it was literally for nothing. Calvin Kattar last weekend, I believe it was, he was doing something different where he would move in, he'd throw, say, like a jab, and the other guy would counter. He'd get hit once, and he would immediately come here. And by the time he was here, there were no other punches coming in. So, again, pointless, you know? Then you have Poirier, who every now and again, he does it the right way, but there's, again, times where he's just standing in one spot. Either that, or he gets hit, and he comes here and there's no other punches coming in, right? You have to do that a certain way. You have to either be moving back or moving forward into it with this up, right? You have to be moving forward or moving back in order to not get hit in the vulnerable points, because you are vulnerable. And that's part of the reason why I think Max is going to the body, is because he knows that Dustin is coming to this guard when he goes to the head. So he probably thinks, okay, if I fake to the body, or you know, if I just move in, he might go here just for the sake of it, and I can nail him. I can dig those body shots, you know? Speaking of which, right there, Max goes to the body, and then he comes up with a slapping left hook, and I don't 100% know if it landed. You know, I'm kind of half commentating, half talking about, you know, half trying to finish the point that I was making, you know? In addition to that, though, there's other ways you can do it, you know, like you can bait people, you can pull people into your elbow block. Like if I'm here and I have like a Philly shell, right, I'll purposefully leave this open so that you throw a jab when I'm right here, and I'll lean back, stick this up, and basically replace where my head was with the elbow. You can see me do this on stream whenever I would spar with Sam when he was in Fish Tank. And again, you see what happened there is Dustin, when Max moved in, he came to here, prepping to come up to actually utilize that elbow forward guard, and Max went to the body as a result. This is a really hard fight to judge. I'm sure there's people that would give it to either of them. I'm having a hard time because, like I said, the liquor's kind of hitting me in a way that it usually wouldn't. I'm not this much of a lightweight. I ain't this much of a lightweight, you know? But then again, maybe I am. I don't know. But then like what was I gonna say? Yeah, like it's tough for me to say who I think is winning this fight right now. I gotta be honest with you, you know? It's been kind of back and forth in some ways. A lot of the time, That was interesting from Max. He took that kick to the arm, and he made a face after it. It was a little weird, you know. It makes me wonder if something happened there. It's a cross to the body from Max Holloway. A hook followed by a cross that meets its mark. Holloway tries to move in. He stops halfway. Porier tries to make him pay for it. Doesn't work. Cross up the middle from Porier seems to have made its mark. Ooh, there was a slapping hook followed by a pretty high kick from Holloway. So I'm not sure who got the better of that. It might have been Max. There was they both threw what looked like hooks. Since their lead sides mirror each other, it was a little bit weird. There's a long rear hook from Porier. Ooh, okay, they both traded hooks there. Jab from Porier, followed by a kick from Holloway. Some punches from Holloway. Some of them may have made their way through. I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe. Ooh, that's a nice hook from Porier. Again, both throwing rear hooks there. Sides mirror each other. Get a little bit of traffic jam. So we have Holloway going to the body again. Couple of jabs from Porier don't really land. We have a little bit under a minute, actually 40 seconds left in this fight, and we are going to see what happens. I would assume they're probably gonna throw hands hard in that last 10 seconds. I would guess that's probably what's gonna happen, you know. Nice hook from Holloway, gets through, then he throws a right hook for a change, and he ends up missing. That was some nice head movement, some nice angulation by Holloway getting out of there when Porier came forward with a few punches. Double jab followed by a knee from Porier. All right, and here we go. Letting each other have it. Oh, ooh. Porier didn't want it. Porier dapped him up. They started throwing. Porier was shelled up, and he was trying to time a hook, and it missed on him, you know. And after that, he kind of got overwhelmed, so he ended up hugging Max just to make sure that he wouldn't get knocked out in that last 10 seconds. That was again, you know, Max Holloway kind of known for that kind of thing. But I'm curious though, right? Because somebody was talking shit earlier about, no, dude, fucking Holloway. Holloway's career's over, dude. Dude, Holloway's career is already over, dude. Let's see. Is he getting beat by Tony Ferguson? Is he getting beat by that tier of dude? I can't believe I'm saying that tier of dude. Like Tony Ferguson didn't used to be like absolutely like fucking crazy, like insane when it okay. So let's see here. As we're waiting. So okay, so 2019, we'll go 2020 and beyond. 2021 was when he did that to Calvin Kattar. All right, so Calvin Kattar win, Yair Rodriguez win, lost to Volk. Okay, no shame. Arnold Allen, he beats Arnold Allen in 2023. He's actually making his way up now. This dude right here is actually an MDE fan. I've spoken to this dude briefly. We wanted to get him on Fish Tank, but it just wasn't gonna work out the way things were going. Specifically, Blood Games is what we wanted him for, but it just was not gonna work out. I actually was in this guy's DM and I was like, "Do you like Sam Hyde? Do you know Fish Tank?" And he's like, "Yeah, I like Fish Tank." So this is a Fish Tank watcher, right? Really cool. But this is the Korean Zombie in 2023, Justin Gaethje 2024. So he's definitely not fighting as often as he used to. All right, but again, do you see the tier of guy that he's losing to? He's only losing to champions and former champions. He lost to Alexander Volkanovski for the UFC featherweight championship. And again, for the UFC featherweight championship. Fight of the night 2021, fight of the night 2021, fight of the night 2023. You know. All right, let's listen. I think he's got a little bit more time. I got to be honest with you. Maybe he's not going to beat Ilya. Maybe he's never going to beat Ilya. Maybe, I don't know. But like to say that he's completely washed, it's like no. Yeah. Yeah. That's not a bad way to go out though. That's definitely not a bad way to go out. It's not like he got brutally knocked out or anything like that. He put up a good fight, and I wasn't sure who it was going to be given to. I wasn't sure who it was even going to be given to. Um, is Poirier winning? He eye gouged him. Did he eye gouge him? I don't know. Max is legitimate as fuck, bro. Best boxer in the league. Yeah, definitely has some of the best hands that we could find in MMA right now. Definitely some of the best hands. Tired Ferguson says, "Fuck the UFC, I'm done." Well, that was the last fight of the night, so I would hope you're done for tonight. No, but I get it. Like Dustin's the guy you want to see win. Max is a guy you want to see win too, but like you almost want to see Dustin win more than someone like Max. Oh man. That's Max Holloway's kid. I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys I want to show you guys a funny I want to show you guys a funny thing. Max Holloway I did man. I'm not finding it. I'm not finding it right now. Hold on. Oh yeah, rapping. This is every time I hold on. Um, I always I'll just show it to you.
Turn it up. Oh, okay. Turn it up. Oh, okay. Turn it up. Oh.
That's the funniest shit, dude. Somebody said this is. Oh yeah. Even this guy is like Max Holloway turned it up. That's exactly like it's just great. It's just great. Oh man. But yeah. It is what it is. It's unfortunate, but I mean, Dustin Poirier had a storied career. He's one of those guys that definitely was counted out in a lot of different ways, but he was able to make something of himself. So good for him, man. it's always like I like that they do these things where it's like they have like a goodbye video, you know? I like that they do those things, but also it's like I don't need Anthony Smith's opinion on Dustin Poirier as a fighter and a guy. I don't really care what Anthony Smith has to say about it. You know, Anthony Smith is not a legend in that way. Like, even having Chael Sonnen around is like, all right, you know, I get it. You know, Chael was on top when Dustin was like still kind of making his way up, if you will, you know. He was on that big stage, I'm pretty sure, but um you know, he was not quite the star he is now, you know? Like, I understand. Like, even Israel Adesanya, it's like I don't give a fuck what Israel Adesanya has to say about Dustin Poirier. Get people he fought. Get people he fought to be like, yeah, he hit me as hard as I've ever been hit in my life. Yeah, when I was in that cage with him, dude, like I knew I was dealing with the guy who was willing to die. You know? Like, man, I won that fight, but I didn't win that fight. I woke up every day for a month pissing blood. Like that type of stuff, you know? I don't want to hear from people that like are annoying and suck. Not, and I don't even just mean as fighters. Like, Anthony Smith seems like a nice guy, but he sucks to have to listen to. Israel Adesanya, he has the worst personality in the UFC, easily, hands down. You know, um, it's like they might as well have Kamaru Usman come in. You know, they might as well have Colby Covington come in. At least with Colby, it's like, yeah, I'm purposefully being grating because that's gonna get me fights that I want to have, and there's gonna be like people that like, you know, they want to see me lose and they're gonna tune into my shit, you know, like. But like overall, it's just like, don't get people we don't want to see. I don't want to see Israel Adesanya with his fucking big ass lips, with his fucking mega lips on fucking camera. I'm all set. I'm all good. You know. Scott, what do you think about Connor's cock? I hesitate to say this. I'm almost afraid to say it because in saying it, I'm betting. Really? That's such a stupid thing to do, is play that Frank Sinatra song. Man. Mm, that's crazy, man. I hesitate to say this though, because I'm afraid what's going to happen is someone's going to send it to me to be spiteful. But I have not actually seen an uncensored image of the Conor McGregor dick weight picture. I'd like to keep it that way. I would I would like to keep it that way. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, I suppose. Scott's turn just a little bit. What's that, like a Louisiana flag? Fucking dude, even I'd literally Oh fuck, what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? The podcaster guy who's like, I knew a guy, his name was One Eye Stevenson. He only had one eye. That guy. Why am I forgetting his name? I'm too drunk. I'd literally rather have that guy though, than Israel Adesanya. Um, damn, what's his fucking name, dude? Fuck, what's his name? The dude with the mullet. He's like really southern. He always tells the stories and shit like that. He's a podcaster. When you guys tell me his name, I'm gonna be like so mad. It's not Ray. It's not Clay. Fuck, dude. I gotta drink more of this. I'll forget my own name. Scott, can you compile a list of Catholic fighters when you sober up? Of course. I wouldn't. I wouldn't know. You know, I mean, like you could say Conor McGregor's Catholic, but I highly doubt that he is going to church and is also trying his best to spread um the word of our Lord in any meaningful way. You know, Theo Vaughn. Fuck yeah, tired Ferguson. Shit, you're right. You too, David Hideo. Yep, that's it. I'd literally rather have had Theo Vaughn in that thing, because at the very least, Theo Vaughn is a super fan. Theo Vaughn is at the UFC cards watching the early prelims at like 4 p.m. That's just what he does on his Saturdays. He shows up at like 4 p.m. He sits front row when nobody else is in the stadium because nobody gives a shit about the early prelims, the whatever they're called, the fucking ESPN Plus whatevers, you know. Nobody gives a shit about those. Theo Vaughn does though. So it'd be really really cool to see Theo Vaughn in one of those things instead of Israel Adesanya, a guy that never fought, a guy that never fought Dustin Poirier, a guy who maybe one time they were on the same card, maybe, I don't know, but that's the closest they come to intersecting in a real way. Or again, Anthony Smith, who, why, you know, literally, like put Theo Vaughn in those things. At the very least, he could be like, dude, when I first saw Dustin Poirier, I knew right away that was one bad dude. I did not want to mess with him. He was the kind of guy, if you looked at him wrong, if you even so much as glanced in his direction, he would have absolutely ruined your day. You know, like that would have been so much better. It would have been so much cooler. You know, Kayla Harris and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Mm. These tacos hit the spot, man. I want to see Israel Adesanya versus the Spider. They fought years ago. I remember watching that. Um, it was by no means a bad fight, but it felt more like they were sparring. It felt like Anderson Silva knew what was going on, and he was like, "All right, kid, I'll take it easy on you. We'll fuck around a little bit." You know, that's honestly kind of what it felt like to a certain extent. Mm. So UFC 319 is coming up in, I would say, probably about a month. I would guess. I don't know. There's three cards before it, a couple of fight nights, a few fight nights. Um, um, excuse me. Yeah, Saturday, August 16th. So in a little less than a month, we will have um Duplessis versus Chimaev versus Chimpanzee, and yeah, I'd like to watch that one too. I'd like to catch that one too with you guys. You know, But all right, one sec. Anyway, um, yeah, I'm gonna head out soon. Um, not too soon. I'm not gonna head out in like the next minute or two, but I'm gonna give you guys, you know, if anyone has anything to say, anyone wants to talk about anything, feel free to spit it out. Feel free to just spit that on out there, and we will go ahead and we'll talk about it a little bit. Oh, hold on, I want to see something. Um, uh, I keep clicking the wrong shit. Be honest, did you pay for this? What, me? For the card? I mean, I paid for Fight Pass, or I guess my wife paid for Fight Pass. Um, you know, so that's cool. But it was Brazilian Fight Pass specifically. It was Brazilian Fight Pass. So we were paying like $5 a month. Like that's what we were paying. It's like $5 a month, you know? Yeah, $79 is crazy. You know? $79 and then there's other like weird stupid shit, you know? Um I hope they go to Netflix. They need a Netflix deal. You know, it's very clear that Netflix is the future for that kind of thing, and I would gladly pay, right? Like if they had Netflix where it's like, okay, the fight nights you get for free and then you have to pay for the numbered cards, I'd be all right with that. I'd be cool with that kind of setup. You know, that'd be fine by me. Um, you know, Netflix is doing its thing. You know, my understanding is that they're getting better and better, and you know, they are you know, they're doing their thing. They're doing their thing is what they're doing. Man. Max Holloway, number one. Yeah. Man. I don't want to go right this second, but I don't know what else to talk about. I'm gonna give it like 30 more seconds for somebody to give me something else to speak on. And if that doesn't happen, we'll just go ahead and we'll you know, we'll head on out. But thank you guys for being here with me tonight. I know I missed the first fight or two. I apologize about that. I got, like I said, I got stuck in Boston. Yeah, it's a nice time, but like I said, got stuck in Boston, and because of that, I got home. But I got home for the most important fights. That was a really, really good Paulo Costa fight. I have to say, that was like honestly, like that was performance of the night, fight of the night, you know, whatever you want to call it. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, they yeah, that was masterful on him, you know? Masterful performance. Very good performance, you know? Right, baby? Oh man. Anyway, I'm gonna head out, all right? I should be streaming tomorrow. It'll probably be later in the night because I have church tomorrow. And I was supposed to get back into I was supposed to get back into Oblivion, and I'm not saying we can't do that, but like the last few weeks I've had opportunities to get back into Oblivion and pick up where we left off, but I'm just kind of like nah, I don't feel like I need to like that. I don't feel like I absolutely positively need to, but we will go ahead and we will we'll check it out. We'll check it out. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm gonna head out. All right. Thank you guys for being here again, and catch you later. Peace.